What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is HUD Wednesday nights. Lottery talk. We're in it, baby. Top 3 pick. We're going to break it all down for you. Giddy up. Oh, and Rick Dockett. Flyers.
I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Welcome in, everybody. This is HUD Wednesday nights, only on HUD Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by our doc. Make them yours. Dr. Paul Vidal, specialized physical therapy, locations in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them right down there on the web. Specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As always, Greg Milakovic, Ryan Elizik, Heel Chrome, Mikey Buckets, Luke Brown. Congratulations, brother. Congratulations.
Yeah.
We are a graduate. We're there.
Only guy without a hat because it's packed in. It's packed up.
It's in a box somewhere.
In a box somewhere.
I wouldn't hide that hair though. You know what I mean? Like you gotta let that hair out.
Calm down. Now
Just because you don't have any, right?
That's fine. I'm good with it. I haven't had anything since 18. I've been using number 1 since 18, baby. I got tired of the gel. I got tired of all the rest. I didn't got no egghead. So I was like, let her breathe, baby. Let the hair down a little bit, but we're gonna cut it down. All right. Flyers are I'm Tom Arnone. I didn't even get to myself. How's everybody doing? Flyers hire Rick Dockett.
Flyers gonna flyer.
We're gonna talk about it. I just don't understand, and I like Rick. This organization is so scared to do something different. They're petrified of it. It's amazing. Different regimes, it doesn't matter. Nobody circles the wagons for former Flyers like the Philadelphia Flyers. It's amazing. It is literally amazing. So we'll talk about that later on the show. Phillies split the doubleheader against the Cardinals today. It's not baseball day. You know what I mean? I don't even care. Did they play today? I don't even care. Who plays in this weather?
Didn't feel like.
Eagles schedule is released for all the dryer sheets out there that want to give win-losses, like we say every year in May. You're a loser. All right? You have no feel for life. Okay? You are so bored with life that you're like, 12 wins. It's back. We're going to the Super Bowl. Don't even worry about the wins. All right? We're going to be fine. Giving predictions, like doing emergency pods giving predictions. Like, wow. How big is your sheet in the dryer? It's amazing. You probably can't see your clothes. It's just a gigantic ball. Like any big bounce wrapped around. It's amazing stuff. Sixers landed number 3 pick. It's exciting. And ESPN, like they do, the worldwide leader of butcher talk. Imagine I'm watching it and they're like, Sixers aren't going to get their pick this year. And I'm like, do I got eyeballs? I'm looking right at the board. I don't see Oklahoma City. I don't see us. So how do we're past 7, babe. We're 6 now. And you're going to make this statement, this emergency announcement you got to make. Sixers aren't going to get their pick. You didn't talk about anybody else. You need to single us out. So now we're panicking as a fan base. We're trying to hide from Twitter at this point because we don't know what's going on. And then we find out. We're guaranteed a top 3. Right? You felt in your loins and you're like, one time. Right? I looked at Cash. I said, one time. All right, for you. This is your generation, babe. I'm asking for the flag. Okay. And of course, the NBA, the losers they are, all right, run by an alien. Okay. And he give it to the Hornets then, dude. Are you out of your mind? You allowed 2 terrible teams to stay out of the top 3. Think about who you allowed in the top 3. Philadelphia 76ers, 3 max contracts. The San Antonio Spurs, you throw Papa Bone on his way out. I see you. I know exactly what you're doing. All right. And then you get a teaming up with Wemby. All right. I feel it. And then you go give a moron, an absolute moron. The fact that he even has his job right now, regardless of what the Lakers did. Okay. Because again, on the surface, I like the trade for Dallas because it was a win right now move. Okay, you get a better defender, blah, blah, blah. We can have that conversation a different day. But you don't go trading generational guys if they're 350 or 250 for not a haul. Like I'm talking, I need you to bring me everything you got Everything in you. I need your filing cabinets. I need everything. Everything in your offices is bring it on in. We're gonna bring your entire offices here. Your cats and couches in LA. I want it all. I want it all in Dallas. That's what I want. And they get a pick and Anthony Davis, who's sensational. So long rant here, but we end up with the 3.
That doesn't lead you to believe that this was a handshake deal? For the people that think sports are just rigged, that was a behind-the-scenes handshake deal. Do you think that guy is that much of a moron? It all makes sense now. Like, they had 1.8% chance to get the number 1 pick, and the NBA said, listen, NBA ratings are down. It's the worst the ratings have been in a while. Send Luka Doncic, one of the biggest superstars, to LA, one of the biggest markets. Let's have the ratings go up. We'll side you the number 1 pick. We'll get you Cooper Flag. Everything will be all right, babe. You just take heat for like 2-3 months. We'll call you a moron, call you an idiot, and then boom, here's Cooper Flag. It was such a handshake deal. It's unbelievable. And I don't think I can.
Everybody in the room know buckets. Everybody in the room tells you afterwards that it wasn't. It was completely random.
Well, then somebody said
show it on
the PR press after the lottery tells me all you need to know.
Well, then
they used to show you the balls like on TV. Pause. But they used to show you the ping pong like the. Now they don't even do it. Now it's just cards. It's like tell me it's rigged without telling me it's rigged. Yeah.
Well, now somebody said to me too. They said, "Well, if they rigged it, it would have been San Antonio." Well, no, because on the flip side, San Antonio gets 2, so they could swing that with all their other draft compensation, their draft capital they have, so they could pair up Giannis with Wemby. I mean, 1 and 2 were already a lock in. I 100% believe in that.
Yeah, they slid that index card like the tooth fairy. You know what I mean? Like, they slid it under your pillow late at night. You know, they woke up to number 1. It's a joke.
Just to play devil's advocate, I think you're probably right. Just because out of all the teams to win it, they do. But just to play devil's advocate, the lottery is kind of screwed up because what it used to be back when we were tanking, if you were the worst team in the league, you had a 25% chance. Now you have a 14% chance. Now, I'm not really talking more so about Dallas and San Antonio and us. Let's just talk about like the Washingtons of the world and stuff like that. 14% is still 14%. That ain't shit. Let's be real. So you're going to tank all this stuff all year long. Now it's a crapshoot. So ever since it changed, then
7 years
to become like this. Right. So now it started to be like this. So I'm not saying you're wrong because out of all the teams to win, it's them. And even the Spurs, I agree. It's like, obviously, they're going to get the pick too. So it is definitely suspicious. I'm not saying you're wrong. But just devil's advocate, it's way too in favor. Because those teams like Washington, they don't have a way out unless they absolutely ace every single pick. They really don't have a way out.
Well,
they just don't.
I think they don't.
And they're Washington, so they're not. Right?
Well, I think both organizations don't deserve it this year per se because you missed every other year. You had it, so it's almost like you can make that case too. Now, listen, we'd be burning down the offices in the NBA headquarters if this happened and we were 7 and we didn't get our pick. We would be unleash it. It would be the most fiery show we've ever done. But we do get the 3 pick. And it ties into a poll question. Boy, you got something, Ryan?
Just one thing on the rigged thing, right? I know they have all these things like, oh, it's not rigged, it's not rigged, it's not rigged. The NBA is really good at making it look like shit's rigged all the time. Because it happens all the time. All the time.
Yeah,
so
this isn't the first time.
Like it happened with it was before my time, but it happened with Patrick Ewing when he went to the Knicks. It happened with
Steve Jobby.
Sure. Happened with Zion
the
Cavs. Yeah,
Zion.
LeBron to the Cavs.
LeBron,
Like it's happened multiple times.
LeBron
had to go be a deacon.
I mean, even the Spurs. Even the Spurs back in the day with Tim Duncan.
Yeah,
LeBron himself literally on McAfee said, if you think that was a coincidence that he landed in Cleveland, you got another thing.
Yeah, then you got Kyrie when he went to Cleveland after LeBron left.
Well, then they got the number 1 overall pick the next year. Now they botched that pick, but they had the number 1 pick the next year.
Yeah, oh my God.
My
who
favorite
was that?
too is that these
Anthony
end of
Bennett.
game reports that they do.
The Canadian.
Oh, the end of game reports.
The end of game reports when they screw up so bad, they're like, hey, yeah, it turns out he did step out of bounds. Yeah, no shit. His size 13 was 5 quarters out of bounds. Yeah, we saw it.
We appreciate it.
We know. We screwed up.
with all due respect to Steve Jobs, he tells you everything you need to know about the NBA. He was an NBA official for a while. Now he's a deacon. So think about how much holy water he needed on him after being around this for the decade plus he was, if not longer, right? I mean, he had to know some things. So imagine you could go do anything else. You could just go retire, could go off into the sunset with pension, blah, 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 right? I got to be a deacon. I got to clean my life up. So, I mean, imagine how rigged it is. I mean, that's just one thing. We know about Tim Donahue. We know about all the gambling issues the NBA's had. Well-documented stuff. Come on. There's a reason they make money, because they do know what they're doing in terms of marketing. But this is the easiest fix of all time. It's the easiest sit back on my couch and say, oh, I think the whole country did. I mean, guys in the Philippines, they got more fans than us are saying, rigged. Everywhere in the world, everybody knew, like, that's a makeup. It's a makeup call. Like, we've all seen makeup calls in our life. So it is what it is.
But
I wish they showed the ping pong balls.
Rigged it in our favor.
Show me some balls.
They
Show me
rigged
your
it in our favor, though. They rigged it in our favor. The odds of us after all that happening, like, if you were like keeping track of the odds and the way like it had to go for us to feel good, the way that went on, I'm like, we are screwed. We don't have a chance. And the reason why he even said that, even though he was wrong, is because there was that much of a possibility of what actually happening. Like, we were not supposed to keep the pick at all at that point. For two people to jump us already before 7 was unheard of. And so then when that happened, the unthinkable would have had to happen, where like 3 teams jump into the top 4, which I don't think has ever happened. And it happened. So, like, yes, it sucks that they got it, but like Washington, New Orleans, they're the fan bases. Yeah, they should be freaking out right now.
Yeah.
Whereas us, we should be like, all right, it would have been awesome to have 1 or 2. But they really did get us too. They got us.
This is the 3rd year in a row that the team with the best odds to win the lottery got the number 5 pick.
That's
what I'm saying. 14% is 14%. What is 14%? What is that? That's nothing. And your team is so much worse than the team with 1%. So much worse.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's why all these people online like want to add it to the NFL. That would be the worst thing that ever happened.
Yeah, that's Schefter and Greeny. They're glazing each other.
Yeah, that would be the worst thing that ever happened in the NFL.
Well, I
tell you what,
I get Greeny's premise behind his argument.
He's a cuck.
It would never work out for the NFL, and it doesn't need to.
No,
it really doesn't need.
That's what they thought was going to happen to us. They thought we were going to get cucked. So that's why they said that. They're like, Sixers are done.
And what's funny, the Gandhi's a Philly guy too. Like
right.
He cockteased the whole area. I don't know about you guys, but
I'm like, oh, my fault.
No, go ahead.
I was saying, this is the biggest woke person to have. He paints his nails. Everyone likes him. He went to Duke. I'm like, oh my God. Once we were in the top 3, I'm like, flag's coming up. I'm like, it makes perfect sense.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Once Charlotte got picked at 4, I went ballistic at home. I'm like, we got number 1. Like, there's no shot to me that they were giving 1 and 2 to San Antonio. I was like, we got 1 or 2. Like, we got 1 or 2. Let's go. Let's do this. And then we get 3.
They let out Brand on the plane too, because he's a Duke guy.
Yeah.
They let him on the plane. He's like, I get to go.
Over the history of the NBA draft, you can make a case the number 3 pick is usually the best one.
Wasn't Embiid at 3? I think Embiid
was in 3.
Embiid was 3. MJ was 3.
Yeah, there's a lot of instances where
the great Jahlil Okafor.
Okafor's a 3. Still draft him
for sure, man.
But if somebody got time as we get into this poll to look up the most over the last 2 decades, the number 3 pick, I bet you it's like 50% home run or really good pick. I feel like there's a lot
best player on the Celtics.
So our poll question: Morey should prioritize drafting the best player available with the number 3 pick. Agree or disagree? Well, that might be the easiest agree of all time. Unless you're talking about like trading the pick, which I just, I'm not going there. Some people will, but I'm not going to be the one to do it. No, you absolutely. You got to. You're rebuilding as you're still trying to win. You're sort of in this perfect situation. We talked about this throughout the year that you can have it both ways. You can right now because that's the money you're invested into. So you're not really given a choice. You have untradeable contracts per se, and I know nothing's untradeable, right? But these are. right now. Okay, they just are. So you're in a position where you get the best of both worlds. You have a young Tyrese Maxey, you got a young Jared McCain, you got the number 3 pick, and you still have Paul George and Joel Embiid. So you still have the ability to win while building for your future at the same time. Not a lot of organizations get that opportunity.
I got a list here of all the number 3 picks ever. So we'll go from 2007. Not all of them. I'll just read off a lot of the big names though. Al Horford, James Harden, Bradley Beal, Otto Porter, Embiid, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, RJ Barrett, Lonzo Ball. Not Lonzo Ball, LaMelo.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, there's Evan Mobley,
Otto Porter. I haven't heard that in forever.
Scoot Henderson. A lot of really good number 3s in there.
Yep. And this is a great class too. We talked about it last week. This is not last year where you're looking at 3 and being like, hopefully I can get a good role player.
Like that's 4 out of there. There was a stretch where 4 out of the, and of course Okafor was the one.
Yeah.
Off one, but you had Embiid, Brown,
it wasn't an off one. It just didn't work out.
No,
it wasn't an off pick.
I'm saying in hindsight.
Would you give it a rest now? I mean, you're goddamn unbelievable. It's been this long, and you're still going to die on this, Joel.
Yes,
Greg,
still the right pick.
Greg,
better than Paul Reed.
I will look at it in hindsight, but I will die on that hill with you. I would have made that same pick. As well.
Who else was in that draft that went after him? Anybody?
No one.
Porzingis.
That's why. That's why.
Porzingis. He went 4.
Yeah, but how did he work out?
Well, he was also
NBA champion.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't. Well, yeah, I mean.
Would you stop it? I don't even like Porzingis. He's better than Joel Okafor. Can we?
No, he wasn't. Not for what we needed. Not for what we needed.
The guy's in China. I mean,
we had Noel Embiid and then Okafor.
We draft
We didn't know what Embiid was at that point. Embiid was still in a rocking chair.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Greg doesn't know what he's talking about sometimes because he literally will wear Sam Hinkie's face. I mean, no pick was wrong.
I do love me some Sam.
You do. I know your truth. You know mine. It's okay.
Picks that went after Okafor.
I'm with you, Greg. Sam's the beat. He's the man.
You had Bobby Portis, Kelly Oubre, by the way.
Better.
Cameron Payne.
Kelly Oubre are both better than Joel Okafor.
Cameron Payne, Devin Booker. Devin Booker went 13.
Devin Booker, yeah,
better.
But no. I hear you. But at that point, Devin Booker wasn't the number 3 pick.
Miles Turner
is not a great draft.
I'll take Miles Turner.
I 100% take Miles Turner over fucking.
The whole draft after him was better.
Everybody.
You said nobody. You said nobody. The whole league was better. The whole draft. We actually had 3 of the guys.
But no one was projected to be up there. Like again, like you could go. This isn't baseball where like you can find
ejection. You know what I mean? Like what are we talking about?
Yeah, whatever. Let's get back to this year.
I don't want to talk about fucking Jaleel.
No, I do. Greg's amazing. Amazing.
I love Jaleel.
You're still the whole pot.
I love Jaleel.
Like said nobody ever.
Put you a shirt.
No,
wait, true story.
Still the right pick. We still didn't know what happened.
May 14, 2025, and the guy's dying on a hill of maybe the only guy not playing in that draft. Maybe the only guy still not playing.
He is playing. He's tearing it up in the G League.
He just got traded from one G League team to another G League team, and I didn't know that you could do that until I saw. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that
one
they did
Okafor
that.
story. Howard Eskin was sitting behind me at the Phillies game, and I was like, I had to be 14, and he was like, I was wearing a Jaleel Okafor jersey to the Phillies game, and he was like, "Why the hell are you wearing a Jaleel Okafor jersey?" It was right after he beat up those fans in Boston. Like, remember he got in a street fight? He was beating the shit out of people in Boston. So he like tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around. I'm like, "Holy shit!" I knew it was. My dad's like, "Yo, it's Howard Eskin." He's like, "Why the hell are you wearing an Okafor shirt?" I was like, "Anyone who fights the people in Boston, just go with me." He's like, "That's the only answer you could have given me." And it was like, great answer.
That's awesome.
And that was it.
Yeah,
I
have one of my buddies used to work at Modell's, and they used to get.
Give you flowers.
I knew you were gonna go there. I thought it was gonna be top.
Flowers.
One of my buddies used to work at Modell's, so like he would get me autographs when our players would come in. So he got me a basketball once. It had both. I had Embiid on it first, right, and then Okafor came in the next year. Got that signed. Talk about this
value.
Immediately dropping the value so much. I'm so mad about it.
Yeah, I killed the whole value.
You probably have the only ball that Jaleel and he signed. So I mean, it's collector's item.
No, It's
For
just
you.
still miserable.
I'll give you
I'm
$5
not
for
selling-
it.
Nobody
Like,
wants
Greg
it.
will give
yeah.
you a premium for that.
Like
I will sleep with it.
I have it like in my room. It's
I'll
just
hide
turned
I'll
to-
hide the Joel sign, the signature, and just magnify the Jaleel one.
Yeah, I can tell you what. I'll take the Okafor one off. I'll give it to you, and I'll just keep the Joel one. How about that? Fuck's sake.
So I agree with the poll question. They're in a great spot to be able to build for the future while trying to win now. So yes, you pick the best available player, and it's not about fit. It's not about any of it. It's about who is the best player. Organizations that miss go for need and not best player on the board, aka another GM in this city that used to go that direction and failed miserably, and that is one Howie Roseman. When Howie Roseman just let stuff fall to him and take the best player, things have worked out well for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Sure
And
have.
it's not a perfect science. Drafting these guys are hard, right? You're drafting an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, and you got to do a lot of homework on them to kind of find out the kind of character you're getting, the work ethic you're getting. I just want the biggest grinder in the draft. Who is it? Who after Cooper Flag per se is the biggest worker? That's who I want. That's who I want. The rest is all great because the guy who works the hardest out of these guys is going to be the best player. It's simple as that. This isn't a hard concept. So that's the homework they got to do organizationally, find out who that guy is. So I agree. Not trading it, not doing anything with it. We're staying home.
I'm with you, but I think it's also not just drafting the best player. I think to take it a step further, you got to get the best player. And I think right now, when you look at San Antonio and the way the whole draft board fell, you look at them, they have Castle, who they really like as a guard. They just invested a ton in De'Aaron Fox. I don't think they're going to pick Ace Bailey straight up because he's not the second best player in the draft. It's very clear who that player is. We talked about it last week. I think the difference between the two players, to me, in my honest opinion, when you look at the two guys, Bailey is a guy that at the very least, and if he's not a star, which I don't think he will be, he's going to affect the game at a high level. That at the very least, you're going to get that. His size, his shot making ability, he'll give you that at the very least. Difference is Harper affects the game completely. He affects the way your offense is run. He affects the game in every facet. He is the guy on your team that you would draft. Coming from a general manager who loves stars, we talked about it last week, they don't have a ton of them. So you have to go and get that guy. All that being said, what does it cost to go up from 3 to 2? And you have to really evaluate, okay, if Dylan Harper's this guy that I love and I think is a Cade Cunningham 2.0, and in my eyes, I don't hate that take because if Cooper Flag didn't exist, he'd be the number one pick in 100% of mock drafts. So when you look at this, you have to tell yourself, like, is McCain a guy that I'm willing to sell to get from 3 to 2? And I'm not saying I would.
I'll drive his TikTok right down there. Are we okay?
No, I'm
You know what I
just saying, when you have this conversation, you also have to think like McCain is coming off a major injury and only played 23 games. And we really liked what we saw, and I'm really excited about him moving forward. But it's 23 games, and and on a bad team. So you have to keep all that in mind in your evaluation of these two guys. He is the better player, and it's not close. It's a clear consensus. So you have to evaluate, obviously at 3, you're going to get Bailey the way the cards fall. But what does it take to go up to 2? That's the conversation you got to have right
What
now.
does it take to stay put and still get him?
That's just, I don't see that happening. I see San Antonio moving out and getting, I see a team moving up ahead.
Let's do a hypothetical, right? We'll use the Hornets.
Like Milwaukee. If San Antonio wants Giannis, they have the best offer in the entire league to be like, hey, Milwaukee, you really like this guard. It can reset your franchise. No one else has this asset that I'm willing to give you. Good luck going out there with Giannis next year. Dame's hurt. Kuzma contract sucks. Yeah, of course. But this is the basis of the trade. This is the big fish. You're going to get your new franchise guy.
Yeah, but then they're going to have to move money to make that deal work too.
They have a ton of money, so they won't have to.
All their guys are young.
They're not. Yeah, they don't need. They have a ton of money. It's over the summer. It's not mid-season. They can take on his entire contract. They're good. So they can be like, hey, we have the second pick in the draft. We want more picks. We'll give that too. We have young players.
They
we
have
have
2
it
and
all.
14, right?
Right. So I'm saying at the Sixers at 3, you have to evaluate what that might cost and if it's worth it and all that. You have to consider all of it.
Well, if I'm San Antonio, why am I going to take an offer for one spot when I can take an offer for a team to jump 4 or 5 spots or 8 spots, whatever it may be, right?
That's where McCain comes into play. That's where you have that asset.
But as an
you
organization,
have to ask if it's worth it. That's the question.
Now, and if you're in San Antonio's camp, you're getting the 3. So like I don't know. Honestly, like I don't know if I give that up to move one spot.
Yeah,
you don't need them.
I hear you.
I'm not sold on
it either.
Like you don't need Dylan Harper with your guard play. That's not who you're going to draft. So you ain't gonna fool me. It's the same thing that happened with the Sixers before. You're not gonna fool me with that. You're not gonna fool me. I know you're not gonna take them. So why would I give you an asset of mine to move one spot? Okay, make a deal with somebody else.
He's a star, though, Tom. He's a star. He's a star.
I hear you.
And I'm not saying I would do it. I'm not saying
how you play the game, though. It's how you play the game with these guys. I know you're not taking him. Regardless if he's a star or not, I know he doesn't fit what you're doing. Okay? You're looking for a fit player at 2. You're not looking for a star at 2. You have your star.
I don't think McCain's enough, though. Like, the Sixers don't.
I think it's
they
too
don't
much
have the capital. They don't have the assets to make that kind of a move.
But guys, you're not understanding. They're keeping.
It's not McCain though. It's McCain and the 3. So it'd be.
But I'm saying there's multiple teams in the league who have a lot of draft capital who stink that could move up into that spot.
Yeah, so but do they move up? And do the Spurs value 3 a lot more than they value 8 or 7?
Absolutely, they're going to value 3 because now they're going to get Ace Bailey.
Bailey Ace Bailey is perfect for.
I call their bluff, guys. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm calling their bluff that they're not taking it. I'll call the bluff right now that they want Ace Bailey. So why the hell would I give you anything and the 3 pick to give you what you want anyway? That's the whole point of the argument.
San Antonio's making that pick to begin with because I don't see any way that Giannis comes to the conclusion he's going to stay in Milwaukee. They have there's nothing that they can do. They have a lot of money on that roster. They don't have a whole lot that they can do in terms of like they're going to have to take on draft capital at this point. So I truly believe it's not going to be them. It's going to be Milwaukee making that pick.
Yeah,
I would be shocked on the floor if San Antonio actually makes that pick.
Well, that's
I agree. I don't think they're making the pick.
Me too. But that's why you have to think about Milwaukee and other teams too, because that's why you're moving up. Is because it's not because of San Antonio. They have other teams on the phone, and they might really like the 3rd pick in the draft because Ace Bailey fits like a glove for what they want.
Call their bluff. So it ain't easy to make a deal like this on draft night in the NBA. It's not as easy as it is in other sports to make those kinds of deals, and we know that.
Right.
We don't see it often. So I'm going to sit here and say I believe Milwaukee's getting that many spots right when it happens. Right. What I do know is they're not drafting Dylan Harper. That's what I do know. So the only thing I got to worry about is somebody jumping me. Right. But my point is sometimes you allow the board to fall to you. Right. We talk about Howie Roseman. Sometimes you got to allow it. It's easy to say, I'll give you 3 in McCain. Now I'm giving you an asset too. So I actually hurt myself a little bit because I do need, if we learned anything from the Sixers is we need bench pieces. We need guys that come off the bench and score and contribute. That's where these good teams have.
The Spurs aren't doing that too. How do we know they're not like, yo, this guy is far and away the second best guy here. We're dumb not to pick him.
I'm going to go a step further. I'm gonna go a step further than just having bench pieces. You need guys that have controllable contracts that are financially feasible because they have. I know we love Embiid, but with the injury questions right now, they might have 2 of the worst contracts in the NBA when it comes to Paul George and Joel Embiid.
That's why I got to keep McCain. Right?
So moving McCain to me doesn't make sense for this team. They need to bring in a piece that is financially controllable on this team. That is responsible. That's the responsible. They don't need to trade back. They don't need to trade out. They need to make this pick. They do not have a lot of draft capital in the next couple of years.
And if I'm Milwaukee, let's go back to Milwaukee. If I'm Milwaukee, like, are we okay too? Because if you're giving me 2 and some other draft capital, baby, I'm giving you a proven star here.
I'm doing it. You have to do it.
You might say, because you're thinking like a goddamn accountant and like a sheet. You're not thinking like a basketball guy. Okay, I acquire 75 picks, but if they're not Giannis, I lose the deal.
They got players too. They're in a unique position.
Look, you can walk into every goddamn convenience store and scratch off lottery tickets. You got to hit it, or you're just wasting money. My point is, it's easier said than done when you're talking about acquiring a bunch of picks that you're going to hit something. They need somebody. They need a player back, like something that they like to come back with that. And that's
Dylan Harper is a star, and that's what everyone in the NBA thinks.
It's not.
You're not getting that. Proven. You're not getting a star. You're not. You're just. You're not
saying they're getting a star. I'm saying that I need players involved in that.
They will get. They will get players involved in that deal. They will definitely get players involved in that deal. Devin Vassell is a good NBA player.
Devin Vassell,
Keldon Johnson's a good NBA player.
Is not happening. I'm just trying to explain it to you. This deal is. I will stamp stuff on this deal not happening. That's how confident you two made me that it's not going to happen. Because it's
Milwaukee, then, if I'm a Milwaukee Bucks fan, I need to look myself in the mirror and say,
we're talking about packing up your dorm room right now. That's the kind of U-Haul kind of shit that is going to has to go on to make this kind of deal happen. This is not
and they got to do it. They're screwed.
They don't have any leverage.
Damian Lillard is hurt for the entire season
he's
with
out
one of the worst contracts in the league. Kyle Kuzma, who for whatever reason they wanted and traded for, has one of the worst contracts in the league. They have no building blocks. They are old and aging. They have nothing. And Giannis,
Doc Rivers,
as great as he is injury prone himself. He's going into an offseason where he's healthy and still below the age of like 32. He's 30.
So why I'm
telling you that. All right, well, I just flipped you on that one. So look how easy I negotiated.
It's fun. That's what we're doing tonight.
No, that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. That's why you do it.
San Antonio's mother effing bluff on this stuff. Go make the deal then, because you ain't getting the damn piece from me and the 3 pick. That's like, hey, if we go up one spot, when you're telling me, if you're even on the phone with me, tells me that you don't want Dylan Harper because you don't have the room for him. You don't have the fit for him. Not that you don't want him, right, guys? But if you even call me, I'm like, right, like, okay, you told me everything that you need to know. But I do hear you guys in terms of like, I would love to be the 2. The 2's an easier spot. You're getting your guy, and we're in a weird spot with 3. But sometimes if you let it fall, it will, because in reality they want an Ace Bailey type. So if a Giannis deal doesn't work out for them, and another deal hypothetically doesn't work out for them, we know who they're taking.
Wait, we just got to make it clear to the chat, too. We're not talking about us getting Giannis. We're talking about the Spurs trading for Giannis and how that might affect where we're drafting. We're not trading for Giannis. That's not going to happen.
God, no. I hope not.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. No one's saying that. We're talking about the Spurs.
Back to the poll so you guys can all give your thoughts on it, because we turn this into a Giannis blockbuster trade night, and Buckets didn't even go yet, which makes this even more of a problem.
Just knowing Daryl Morey, he tries to squeeze in super teams and then just let people walk. That's what scares me.
That does scare me. I'm with you.
Yeah,
we got James Harden. I don't know. He wasn't on Tobias, but that's just what he does. He tries to piece together this brand new team. We're gonna have 12 moving parts, fucking 18 brand new guys, and then try to win a championship, and then 9 of them will be gone the next year. That's just what he does. So Giannis could be. Listen, I wouldn't hate it, because what are we doing with Embiid? That's the only thing. It's like you said, we're in a weird spot because you have you could kind of win now, but you're building for your future. It's like they don't know what the hell they're doing. Like, are we really contenders with two part-time superstars in George and Embiid as far as health? They're part-time. They're part-time superstars. 2 of the worst contracts. And then you got 3 young guys. What's an 18-year-old going to do for us? He's not winning here for another 5 years. So it's like you're kind of in rebuild, you're kind of not. It's like it's a weird scenario. So as long as Embiid's here and that's your pipe dream, like, okay, Embiid's going to be on a championship team, why wouldn't you get Giannis? That's just how I look at it. Like, why wouldn't you? If they called, like it's a pipe dream, but if they called, like why would you not? Because you're already kind of screwed. Like you're either going we're 1 foot in, 1 foot out right now. That's what I don't like. But
Morey's drafted well. This is why I have a problem with trading the pick.
Exactly.
He's
Morey has
drafted
drafted
well.
well.
We can take shots at the bad things he's done, but he actually has really drafted well, and we got to give credit where it's due sometimes. And I trust him with this pick. I do, and I like the moving.
You can't screw it up. It's Harper or what's his face, Ace Bailey. You can't screw it up. You can't like this one. You literally can't mess up. It's whoever falls to you, you're taking. But like I agree, he's drafted well. But it's just like this one, you can't mess up. But
Pump,
we
might be on the same page for once, buddy.
Yep.
Oh, what is going on with the world?
Yeah, I don't know if we got the key to the test and still fail. Who's Buddy? Who's he talking about?
I just think he's talking Buddy as in just in general. Like the Sixers got the 3 pick. You know what I mean? Just like Buddy is the Sixers. Got the 3 pick, take Ace, don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't hate that opinion.
I think we're a little too high on Rutgers up in here, but I just got a major problem with those two guys not winning. I mean, we're sitting here saying Dylan Harper is a bona fide star and he didn't even win shit. Couldn't even get into the tournament. So how much of a bona fide star is he? He's playing against guys the same age. So how good is he? Just somebody riddle me. I didn't watch.
There was nothing around him. It was those two. It was those two.
Well, start if they're that good. If they're both top 3 picks, how are they not better?
They lost everything because they ran it all for them. Like Steve Peichel just did an absolute terrible recruiting job around those guys. It was those two and us 6 shooting up for Rutgers every night.
Their center couldn't catch.
We might have won more games.
Yeah, it was
what,
bad.
what was the poll question? I don't even remember what the poll question.
I'm just asking for a friend, right? I didn't watch enough.
Take the best player at 3.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The only way I'm not doing it is in the pipe dream that they call and say, look, to be honest, because I don't like the 1 foot in, 1 foot out shit. I'm not even saying it's the correct or right move. I just don't like how we're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. The building for the future while trying to win now does not compute in my brain. That doesn't even make sense. You're either building sometimes or you're trying to win now. I mean, I am an idiot. I'll wear it, but it's like you can't have it both ways. You can't have chocolate and vanilla. What cake?
But you can though, right? You can. You can though.
You've been to a boardwalk in your life. You know, like a little swirl sometimes. Like treat yourself. What's wrong with you? Why can't? I'm not telling you.
But you can, right? Because look at teams that have done it before, right? You look at San Antonio when they got Duncan. Why did they get Duncan? Because David Robinson got hurt. And then David Robinson comes back, and now you get the Twin Towers for a while. Then they start building around that, right? You can even go to hockey. Look what hockey did to Pittsburgh with Sidney Crosby. And then he stinks, and then they build it around, right? So I hear you, Mike. Like, you almost want, for our sanity, right? You almost want them to jump head first one way or the other, right? You don't like this seesaw, but you can do it. And one thing that Daryl Morey has been good at is when he's got assets and he's got stuff and has the ability to be creative, that is when he's at his best. I mean, we look at this pick here. He had to sell everything just to get rid of Al Horford and Danny Green and get out of that. And then this pick actually turned out to be, where we're at right now. So a little bit of creativity is kind of where Daryl Morey shines. So it can be done. But I understand your weariness.
Well, weariness of what though? Like I don't understand what the big deal is here. We have 2 aging veterans with big money, and then we have 2 younger guys, and we have the 3 pick. Like there's nothing like to see here. There's trying to build for the future with still the potential of being able to compete right now. Okay, and if you don't compete right now, as fans, we should be happy as a pig and shit because we still can fall back on the young guys. That's why I don't understand why everybody has a problem with it.
This is so dumb. Like, what is this 1 foot in? What's the 1 foot in, 1 foot out thing?
Well, it's got 1 foot on the track and 1 foot off. That's the problem.
Well, all right. Well, let me tell you that. Well, people think that if you draft at 3, you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Let me explain something to you really clearly. Your 2 stars out of your 3 stars, they don't play, so they're not stars. So out of your whole entire roster, you can. So let's just in a role where they stay in a whole. So with them on the team, you have one star on your entire team. So any chance that you have to get one, including a number 3 pick, you have to take it. Also, do me a favor. Let's look across the entire NBA right now. Who's still playing basketball? Are there any older, aging stars on any of these teams still playing? Absolutely not. So now let's have this conversation. Would we rather dip into this and trade this for a guy that we want to help right now with 2 guys who can't play because they won't play and they're not healthy? Or do we want to take a chance on an 18, a 19, a 20-year-old kid who's going to come in and develop next to Tyrese Maxey? And guess what? You know, currently on your team as the second best chance to be a star next season, Jared McCain. It's not Joel Embiid and it's not Paul George. So you're not 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You're doing the best thing for your team. You're getting another young player who, as Chrome said, is financially stable for you to make a move potentially in the future if it doesn't work out. But you're not 1 foot in, one. What are you talking about? You're making yourself better now, and you're younger.
You're correct by taking the pick. If you take the pick, that is the right thing to do. I'm just saying, you just said we have 2 stars that don't play, George and Embiid. That's what's giving you the 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Get rid of them. If they can't beat
you,
Mike, if they could have, you don't think they would have? Like, can we?
You don't think you can get rid of Embiid?
You got to know.
Someone's got to feel. I remember
you got to want him.
No feel, dude. This is the same crew. This is the same crew that I literally was on the other side of this. I'll pull up the receipts. I was saying you'll get nothing for Embiid.
Yeah, but it's got to be.
You'll get plenty for him.
It's got to be worth it.
Not now. You won't. Are you okay?
Dude, it was not even 6 months ago that you were.
No. I agree with what
there's a lot changed in 6 months.
6 months, a lot changed. Don't be doing this. Don't be doing this and trying to get one by on the audience.
What, he had one more injury out of his 110? What changed?
Mike, a big injury though. Mike, a lot changed. A lot changed. The guy couldn't walk. Right?
He couldn't walk while he was playing.
You're a problem. You're an issue.
Greg left.
That's not the conversation. We all tried, and Chrome was here. We tried trading them last 2 summers ago. So this ain't fresh. We made these attempts. They didn't do it. The shelf life of having that opportunity has ran out. So let's stop talking about it. Because what you're going to get back is a bag of chips and a lot of chips. That's the problem. A lot of stale chips. No, it's not, though.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not. Because I have an opportunity.
Draft an 18-year-old player. Your second star played 23 games.
Guys, you're in purgatory with Joel Embiid because the only way he has a trade value is if he's able to stay on the court and produce at an MVP value. But if he does that, then you don't want to move him because he's one of the best players in the league. So you're in a purgatory right now where unless he's a free agent, he's not leaving this team.
Yes,
yeah, which is going to screw you because we're going to draft an 18-year-old stud, and then your second best player is going to be a guy that played 23 games in Jared McCain. We could behind Maxey.
Listen,
and you're going to be 500. You're going to have nothing.
Listen, we could be pissy about
1 foot in, 1 foot out.
This is the stage that we're at with Joel Embiid. It's not going to change. So the only thing that you really can hope for is that he's going to come back and be healthy and be able to be the guy.
What I'm saying, Tom, is I will take the bag of chips. Just get him off the books.
And it's like you're not going to trade Paul George for another year or 2 because you need him to be an expiring contract to get rid of him.
I think next year you can maybe get rid of him. But
you might be able to get rid of him next year.
Can somebody tell me why it's such a big deal? Because if, and it's the biggest if in the world, and we say it every offseason, and we know how it's going to pan out. But, like, if the goddamn guy is healthy, they have an opportunity. So why can't you draft an 18-year-old and set yourself up for the future?
You can.
Still having opportunity to win now doesn't mean you're going to win anything. We know
this idea that you can't draft a young guy
not the definition of
who can contribute now and develop throughout, who could be a contributor now, and as he goes on, develop to be a cornerstone for your team is crazy to me.
What is that?
I can't believe it's even a debate.
What is 1 foot in, 1 foot out? Actually, really even mean? I don't even know. Nobody knows.
Mike, I've heard some asinine things come out of your mouth. This is insane.
What's tap dancing?
This is insane.
It's not 1 in, 1 foot out. It's not, because that guy is still going to help you even if they're healthy.
Yeah, with Cha-Cha, like it's 2 opposite sides of the spectrum. You got Paul George is like your star, and he can barely walk, and then you got 18-year-old, and it's like,
he's not a star. Paul George
is paid like a freaking star. Don't tell me he's not a star. We're fucking paying him.
Team. Okay. So
what guys make doesn't equal what they are. We know this.
Well, it screws your
We
team.
did this
You
for
should know
years
it.
with
Harry
Tobias
Roseman's
Harris.
great at it. It screws your team. What they make matters. Don't act like it doesn't.
Yeah, well, no, again, like this is we've been gifted this pick. The fact that we're even having this conversation right now is insane. It's phenomenal. You got gifted the number 3 overall pick. Thank you very much. Right now, you can argue about all this crap. Right. A couple days ago, we were thinking, "Oh shit, we're not going to have a draft pick, and we're screwed anyway because we have these bad contracts." So just take Ace Bailey, right, to get to the poll question. Take the best player available, or whoever's there, whoever the hell they think it is, and you just go. That's it, right? And if you take an Ace Bailey, who's a 6'10", 18-year-old, right? Embiid playing 40 games next year, if he's skipping every other game, isn't that bad because you have a dude who can theoretically, size-wise, match up against some of those bigger guys.
I hate to break it to you, but his official combine stat came out, and he was listed way shorter than 6'10".
I'm not surprised.
There's
a reason he was a guard. There's a reason he was like a
6'8".
Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, like he's a forward, right? He's an athletic freak forward, So like the stuff we're looking at here, I don't know. It's asinine to think that like we're not going to get better by drafting a guy in the top 3. Right.
No one said that. We'll get better. Take the pick, 100%. I just don't like that. It's like the seesaw.
It's only.
I don't understand.
We know the 2 outcomes of the seesaw. So what's the problem? We know one outcome could be we climb the mountain and we actually get to the Eastern Conference Finals and right. Or the other outcome is Joel Embiid's knee is officially done and we're just like an average to below average team with a chance probably to be in the lottery again. And now we're where we're at. Now we know where we're at. So what's the big deal? Like we're one of the teams that can go into a season with expectations, and then if those expectations aren't hit, we're like, well, we knew that wasn't going to happen, but we can still have those expectations. We can still believe. As a fan, that's all we ever want. So going into this year, a fresh year, you open the knees, right? Paul George here for year 2. Maybe there's a little bit more chemistry with those 3 guys. They've been around each other, and you draft a young kid. McCain comes back healthy. You have Oubre. You have some good bench pieces, right? And you're like, okay, maybe we have a chance to compete a little bit. The best player in the conference ain't going to be playing. So I have a real opportunity next year to maybe shock some people. Or he gets hurt again like he always does, and we're okay. How does a young guy look? Then we're at that point. Who cares?
I'm just incredibly confused why you can't draft a guy that can contribute now and continue to develop to be a star player for the future. I mean, look at the Eagles. They drafted Landon Dickerson while Jason Kelce was still on this team with the intention of him being a guy to take his spot down the road. But instead, they played him as an interior guard until that time came. Then they put him in that spot, and he was an absolute Pro Bowler this year and a big reason why he won the Super Bowl. It's the same idea. You draft a guy who has the talent that can come in and contribute on the team and continue to learn and develop until it is his time. So I don't understand the half in and half out. You have the number 3 pick. Your chances of nailing a guy is very, very high right now. It's not a half in, half out. Every draft pick in the NBA is for now and for the future.
Guys can come in and play well right away.
No, listen,
like,
I'm
well,
saying
it's also like if you go in the comments, people like, don't take the 18-year-old, take the 23-year-old. Name me the 23-year-old that you're going to trade for. Like, do it, because there's got to be an opposing side of this too. Like, who's taking the deal?
No, take the pick. I'm not saying don't take the pick. It still means that I don't have to be satisfied with it.
All right, so people are saying you want to prove it
and said go win a Super Bowl right now.
You want to prove an
Ace
NBA
Bailey's
guy.
going to play pivotal minutes.
Yeah, he is, but he's also going to play pivotal minutes 7-8 years down the line. You hope. He's 18 years old. Yeah. In 8 years, he's 26. Like, what are we talking about?
Like when I told you guys that this pick was for my son's future, that's the point. Like, that's the point. When this guy's 28 years old, my kid's 14. It's prime, Xfinity Arena time. It's prime time. So, like, this is a pick not only for now. Forget Ace Bailey, whoever the heck it is. Like, VJ could probably come in and play right. Just like I said, VJ can come in and play right now. There's other guys. Trey Johnson come in and score right now. There's guys who can come into this league with skill sets that will translate right now. I mean, VJ literally just jumped out of the gym again because the guy's got tons of hops. So there's tons of opportunities and different guys that you can take that are ready to play, right? And if Ace Bailey's the pick or Dylan Harper, like, listen, we got a really good player development staff here. We do. And, there's a lot of things that haven't worked out. But when we hired this staff, we knew what we were getting. They've done a good job of developing NBA talent that weren't high picks, okay, that are playing elsewhere. OG, right, playing in New York, developed by this coaching staff. I mean, they have a lot of guys that they've had their fingerprints on throughout their years that were not high picks. Fred VanVleet, not a high pick, right? So you go through guys that have grew up there. Siakam, I know he was a lottery pick, but it may not have been a lottery pick. I don't even remember. But the point is, developed them by Rico Hines, like a lot. So there's a lot of bad that's happened here in Philadelphia, but there's also like this staff, and I think Luke attested this a couple times. Like, this is a good staff, and this isn't a staff I'm trying to move on from. They've been dealt a bad hand, but allow this staff to get their fingers on some of these young guys for a minute, and let's see their development. Let's see what Tyrese Maxey, another step he takes next year, hopefully with health, right? But let's see what McCain steps, and then we get a young guy like McCain was coming in and playing right away and contributing. So why do we act like the number 3 pick of the draft can't? That we got to baby the number 3 pick like it's baseball. No, you're coming in and you're playing 25, 30 minutes a night. Are you kidding me?
Like,
come on.
You're also this is not last year. If this was last year, we were having a total different discussion. This pick
McCain played though, and it was last year, right, Luke?
Well, no. I'm just saying in terms of like the outlook of the draft. And you're saying I have a top 3 pick, but this draft sucks. This is not the case at all. So you have to look at this and say you have to get star and talent. So this guy is not going to play 5 minutes a night, week 1, day 1, month 1. He is going to play 25 minutes a night on night 1, at least. He might even start. So like this idea that, you got to go trade for a 23-year-old or whatever, do yourself a favor right now. Let's look across the landscape of the NBA. Who's still playing? Young guys that they draft. Look at Indiana. They are all young guys that they developed, they chose on themselves, and they've developed into great players, like within their system, around their guys. I don't know if Ace Bailey is an absolute star, but his floor is so high. He is going to be a high-level contributor at the very least. And he's only 18. So in my eyes, the worst thing you're getting is a high-level contributor for the next 10 years. And I'm taking that all day long. So I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like VJ.
I agree. Take it. No, take it. 100%. It's just the sad part is, like, I don't think Halliburton and Siakam are better players than Embiid and George, but they play. It's half the battle. They play. Like, they're healthy. They play. Like, it's just like that's what sucks. We have no shot with these 2 guys on our team. All we need is something that hasn't happened for 10 years to happen. That's what we keep. Like, all we need is him to stay healthy. We've been saying it for 10 years. I don't understand how you can continue to say it.
Well, I feel like we're past that at this point because I think the saving grace for the franchise is this pick to turn out, because the draft is that good that if you're picking as high as 3, you have the ability to, I get it, in all likelihood and what we want Embiid to be healthy. The best case scenario is not for right now. It's really for the next future, the next generation. And this pick has a ton of say in that, which is why 3 versus 2 is big. But now you're staring at 3. You need Ace Bailey to be an absolute stud. Because everything you hear right now, Trey Johnson's a cool name to think about in contention. VJ Edgecombe's a cool name to think about. It really just feels like it's Ace Bailey.
It would be sweet if the Spurs kept that pick. If they kept that pick and we got Harper, that'd be crazy.
Right. And
that's
to the people out there who say we don't need a guard, who's the true point guard on our team right now? Like,
that being said, I totally agree. I don't like Maxey as the 2.
I like him better at the 2 than the 1, especially next to a 6'6" guard that can command the ball like Harper can. Like that to me is a seamless fit. That's like Garland and Donovan Mitchell on steroids, in my opinion, in terms of
I
what
also
that can
think
be built up to be.
McCain's probably a bench player no matter how good he gets. Like I think he just plays like a bench player. Like he just comes off and gives you 20. Like, that's what you need. He just shoots. Like it's either going to be his night or it's not, but he's going to put up 15 shots.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
like that's what you need off the bench too. Like you need guys like that, right? Which, you know, the Sixers obviously, like everybody on the team was hurt at some point last year. But like having him be able to contribute right away, like he was the best rookie playing last year for like the first 2 months of the season. Right? Like, you know, obviously you can't really expect him to come back and be that guy right away. But having seen him do that and help him, you know, maybe you ask him to do 15, 20 minutes a night of that same thing next year. You just go balls to the wall for as long as you can, right? You spell these other guys so you don't need Maxey to play 40 minutes a night, right? Which is what he was doing before he ended up getting hurt. So, you know, again, like taking a guy in this draft, whoever it ends up being, adding them into those younger guys that you have, and you know, maybe not. Obviously, everything hedges on whether Embiid's healthy or not, if they're going to be able to contend for a championship. But like, it makes those second nights of a back-to-back, or you know, your random nights in, I don't know, February, makes them easier because you have, you know, younger legs that can be out there and playing for 25, 30 minutes a night when they don't normally have to do that.
So to put a bow on this, in the absolute pipe dream that'll never happen, if you shipped the number 3 pick and Paul George and other things, I don't know what the other things would be for Giannis, you're pissed.
No, I wouldn't be pissed about it. But again, like
it's hard to be pissed about getting the
no,
second
you're
best
getting
player in the
Giannis
NBA.
Antetokounmpo, dude, multi-time MVP, like that won a championship. Like you can't be mad about it. But like that's a Morey type move. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, but I also wouldn't be upset if they didn't trade for it. Because again, like we were talking about, the Spurs have better options to be able to go and get it. So.
Yeah.
But the Sixers are second best. And again, you can thank you for the pick and you can match salaries or whatever the hell you have to do. But again, like, do you want to give up? How many younger players do you want to give up to be able to get it on top of
It'll never happen.
Again, I don't think it's going to happen either.
Well,
there's other teams
Paul
that
George,
too much.
Paul George used to date Doc Rivers' daughter, and he cheated on her with a stripper. So I don't know if that's why he dipped that way. I'm pretty sure.
Well, he's also a negative asset. You're acquiring a negative asset.
No, Paul George is just.
But if we want to have the Harper discussion still and what it might take if he falls, which I don't think is going to happen, or whether you want to have a conversation trading up, like going back to that discussion, McCain and Maxey, although it's nice that they both can play the point, I do think that they both actually play the best at the 2. So when you have that argument, to have a guy in there that is best at the 1 and is still 6'6" and can play with either of those 2 guys defensively, I think that is a major, major plus. But now I'm again, I don't want it to make it seem like I don't love Ace Bailey or whatever. Like I think he's the clear choice at 3. But I just think Dylan Harper would have been like game changing from the jump.
Yeah, I'm in on that. I agree. I think McCain is a 2. I don't think McCain's a 1 at all. I don't mind Maxey at the 1, but late in games, I feel like he turns it over a lot. I think I could see him as a 2. I don't know. Something about both of them on the 4 at the same time doesn't like defensively.
Right. It's not great, but it's still, you can play stretches with that for sure.
Yeah, I'd rather Harper, to your point. I like Harper. Give me Harper, Maxey. I can deal with McCain going.
I mean, he's 6'6", 220. I think he weighs more than Ace Bailey. Like this, people are like guard. I mean, this guy's a big dude. And why not Trey Johnson? I think his questions as a defensive player and as a driver Because he is a tough shot maker. There's absolutely no denying that. He might be the best shooter in the entire draft. I don't know if that's much of a question either. But he's not much of an athlete, and he was a god-awful defender. Like, by far the worst defensive player in the SEC, to a point where it didn't matter who they were playing, they were calling him out on every possession. So I don't know if that's the risk you want to take at 3. If we had the 5th pick, completely different conversation. I think he would be in play.
Listen, they're in a good spot.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talent in this draft, and they can let it fall to them a little bit here at 3.
I'm with you on that, Tom. I would let it fall. The only way I'm not letting it fall is if it's a superstar return, which won't happen. But yeah, I'm letting it fall.
Let it sit. Let other team let somebody else mess up in front of you, right? Or you just do a great job and you find the guy, because there's always a guy, and you find him. It doesn't have to be the 1 pick, right? 1 pick comes with all the glitz and glamour, but it doesn't always turn into the best player, right? Sometimes it comes from other spots in the draft. So let somebody else mess up. Maybe one time we'll get a nice reward here for somebody else screwing up something easy. In a way.
It is crazy too.
Nothing stops San Antonio from screwing this up, too.
All right, well, here's the other question. What if let's say in this hypothetical, if it doesn't take a player like McCain, because they don't have a ton of offers, and they like Ace Bailey at 3, is the Clippers pick, is that worth it? Because that could be a whole range of things in, I think, 28. So Kawhi would kind of be way past done, you would think. Harden would be done. But they're also LA, and they're a big market, so they can get a starter right away. So you don't really know how that's going to play out. If that's the pick and that's it, and that's all it takes, is that something you like? To me, if that's the trade, I have a hard time turning that down.
What is it again?
It's just the 2 picks. McCain's not in it, and it's simply just we'll give you 3 and the Clippers pick in 28, which could be great and it could be nothing. We have no idea. It's a swing, but you get the guy that you really think is the second best player in the draft and a generational talent.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. If you believe that's the guy, like if they believe that's the guy,
yeah,
right?
I think that's the trade I think about.
I hate the Oklahoma City, dude. That's all I have to hear about is let's do OKC. Let's do it like OKC. Like OKC traded for a star in SGA. They didn't know they were getting a star like that. They did, but they traded for a star in SGA, and then they just have role players around them. That's all it is. Like and they traded for Hartenstein, who's playing big minutes. Like I can't even think of like their best role players. Like who they really draft. That's like astonishing. Like Chet Holmgren, I think he stinks. Aaron Wiggins is good, but again, he's a role player. Like I think Holmgren stinks.
Yeah, right. They trade without Shea. They're not.
Without Shea, they're nothing. Like close. They got SGA,
yeah, right.
And then it's just like we gotta be OKC. We gotta be OKC. They got SGA. They got Hartenstein in trades. Everybody else stinks. Like they got Isaiah Joe from a trade from us. Like what did they really draft? Like what did they really draft? Holmgren, I think he stinks. Aaron Wiggins is a solid player. He's a role player. I hate the OKC comparisons. And Cleveland, too. You see it again. OKC and Cleveland, my thing on them is they play hard and they play defense in the regular season, and nobody else does. So when the playoffs start and everyone else is playing hard and playing defense, it's like, oh, shit. Back it up.
Yeah, but why is that? It's because they're young. So, like, let's go trade this pick for a potential star for a guy who's 25 and might stink on your team, on a team full of guys who'd never even play in the first place. Like, what are we talking about? Like, you were given a complete bailout. Why would you even consider trading it for unless it's Giannis? Because then we can have a conversation. Unless it's that, there's no debate. You draft somebody.
Yeah, I'm probably not.
I'm with you.
Honest.
That's
right. Like, all these teams that we're talking about are young and they've drafted high-level talent in recent drafts.
We would trade for Giannis and he wouldn't play. He would get hurt. So I'm not trading.
Probably.
The one nice thing though is Giannis looks to be going west, and then we have now the number 3 pick, right? So the East is again wide open,
Right.
Because you'd have to imagine Tatum's missing most of next year.
Yep.
Tatum's done for he's out. For the
So there goes Boston. And I'm not saying Boston's not going to be good, but it's not like they're the powerhouse that they have been. We know the Cavs are frauds, and they're due to make a whole bunch of changes. So, yeah, you hit this pick, and this pick comes and does well, even if it's not necessarily this year. But, yeah, I mean, I think we're in a really good spot. And I think that's the funny thing, because I think we're all in the same boat, right? Like, after the lottery, we were so pissed at how it turned out at the top that we discredited our pick, right? And we were like, oh, well, I wanted one. One was the only option. But in reality, yeah, you're right. We're all right. Like, we won. In our scenario, we won. We got the pick that we want, that we won up for. And yeah, I mean, I trust Daryl at this point. He can draft well. That's what he's done. And Tommy, while I was gone, you mentioned Rico Hines, and you mentioned, Nick Nurse developing like a Pascal Siakam. I mean, that's a very similar body type to when he came into the league as an Ace Bailey, right? Like, I'm sure Siakam was a little bit taller with now what we know Ace Bailey is, right? But it's a very similar type of body type, very, lanky, and Rico Hines and Nick Nurse specifically, those guys developed him into the star or the superstar, however you want to rank him, that he is. The max contract player, right? You can just say that. But they developed under Nick Nurse and Rico Hines, so there's no reason why they can't do it again.
His development also is so obvious in terms of what he needs to get better on. Because if you watch his highlight tape, you might think he's the best player in the draft class. But what you really should do is watch one of his poor games, and that's where you'll get the full story, because he only really takes contested shots. And that's in college. So the real question with him is out the gate, it's real. That's why I was saying earlier, like, if you land in Charlotte, he's probably screwed right out the gate. He's going to have to get open looks. And I think playing next to these guys is really going to help. But outside of that, if he can develop any kind of handle to create sort of space for him,
that's his biggest thing.
That's where his shot making becomes like elite to I'm an all-star. So that's where his step is, because he takes a ton of contested shots.
He does.
And that's college. So
he was taking contested shots versus Monmouth. Like, think about that. Like, I mean, if you're taking contested shots against Monmouth, it tells me you don't have handles. And
yeah, so that's where
6'7",
again,
I have concerns that you don't have handles now.
Right, but that's where you're 18. You're playing with Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain and hopefully Embiid and Paul George and all these guys and Grimes to take pressure off you. But at the end of the day, he needs to develop that if this pick turns into like an A+ franchise changing level move. Otherwise,
pure athleticism, shot blocking ability, the ability to make contested shots.
Right. That's why, like I said, his floor, and if he is what he is for the rest of his career, is still a contributing player. So that's why the floor is so high, it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, at worst, he's a 3-and-D guy, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
At worst.
The worst thing he is Jabari Smith Jr. on Houston, which obviously isn't who they thought he would be, but more than a contributional player.
And the good thing is it is a fit. I know we're talking about get best player. I would take Harper if he's available, obviously, but it's still a need. It's a fit. Because we got We got Oubre.
I mean, VJ can flat out play too, though.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I mean, you want to talk about a super athlete.
We always talk about athletes too.
Yep.
He's far and away the best one.
And he played for a good team too, or a better team. So I forget what Baylor finished at, but
yeah, they were like an 8 or 9 seed, I think.
Yeah.
Tournament team. Not that I'm not going to take it away from those Rutgers kids of that. I'm just saying that, you're playing some more competitive games and you're putting up those numbers and you're showing this athleticism, right? It makes me like him, but how good of a shooter is he, right? What's his what are his handles?
In the open court, he's fine, but he
in transition, he's like an automatic buck. Like he is
Yeah.
a force, and he's a tremendous defender. And he's already gotten a lot better at shooting the ball, and he's only 19. So like that's where you look at him and say that could be like, obviously I'm exaggerating, but like that could be Anthony Edwards because he can jump out of a gym. Like if he develops a handle, like look out, he is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, get to the bucket. He gets to the bucket at will.
Yeah, he is. But again, like right now, he's such a raw prospect in like the half court and just breaking someone down that it's hard to imagine he'll ever get there. So that's why Ace Bailey seems to be the more likely star.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one because it's
And
not like
also like
Ace Bailey had
too.
0 handles. Like Ace Bailey looks like he's dribbling a Fisher Price ball.
Yeah, if you watch the one video or any of his bad videos, he looks lost for sure. But then you can go find video there. He just takes over games and dominates.
Like VJ does everything. Like he just does everything. He's great. He's really good in the open court. He jumps over top of everybody. He takes in half court game. He just takes pick and roll. It's night because he's getting to the bucket, and his defense is good because he's so athletic and he's so high energy. Like when you look about like trying to win and you look at that kind of stuff, I love high energy cats because I know 82 games that dude's bringing it on a nightly basis with his energy. And when you talk about Nick Nurse and what he talks about all the time is energy guys, right? Guys who bring it every night. Control what you can control, which is a ton of energy. This game takes a ton of energy like any other one. So I don't know. There's another name. Just throwing names around. I don't want to talk about the same guys all night. Right?
Which is why in an NBA pace game, I think he'll really benefit a lot. But when it gets to the playoffs and it becomes a half-court match, I think he'll struggle a little bit, at least earlier in his career until he develops a handle.
Yeah. Well, again, one guy's got no handle.
Yeah, but he's 6'9" in shoes. So when you get when you look at that, you got to say
doing this. We're throwing semantics now and shoes.
And the other thing too,
I don't want them now. I don't want them.
Shoes.
There's been a scandal on height. It's a height scandal. I don't want them.
And like we said, pre-show though, like on this current team, it might turn out that the best player available is maybe the best fit. Like I don't need him to get to the rack right now in year 1, year 2. I don't need him to go to the hole. If he's getting his time is going to be that spacer, that shooter on the outside, because at any given time you're going to have 3 or 4 guys also on the floor that can get to the bucket whenever they want.
See, I'm not taking the guy just because of his energy at 3. He obviously has a ton of skill. Like this isn't like, draft the bench piece from Baylor, who was like their energy and effort guy. Right? Come on, grow up, Sam. I'm talking about the energy and his ability. When you add that into his ability, I think you get an overall better player. Not better than anybody else in the draft, just an overall better guy to really get a peekaboo on. And I want to get to know him a little better. Because to me, just watching him, he brings it on a nightly basis. Ton of steals, right? Ton of pick your pockets. I don't know. I saw a ton of pick and rolls where he's just taking guys off the dribble night to the bucket against Tennessee, against other big time schools. So, he was doing it against really good competition. I don't know. There's a good amount of options here. That's why we say sit on her. Sit down.
There's a guy who I've seen mentioned in the chat. I don't think he's not the pick at 3, but Knuppel out of Duke, really good player.
Sign me up.
Yeah, he didn't quite shoot 50%. I think he shot like 48, but he's a 40% from 3 guy. I think he shot 90% from the line too. Again, he's more of like your prototypical like 3 and D guy, but he was the ACC tournament MVP after Flag went down. Dude played really well in the tournament. again, like he's not going to be the guy at 3, but if for whatever reason you end up maybe trading back a little bit, that dude's going to be a stud. He's going to be a stud.
Yeah,
Just because,
he reminds me a lot of Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Because Devin Booker played around so many great players that they forgot, like they were like, oh, all he can do is shoot, or he's an off-ball player. And then like to get him away from Cooper Flag and Proctor and all the ball handlers and guards that they have on their team, this guy can create his own too. I think when you look back, he'll be kind of slept on.
Yeah, this is tough. I don't want to be the one to say it, the elephant in the room here. But we expect 2 in the draft to be studs. Okay. I'm in. You know what I mean? I'm in. Buy a Spalding tomorrow. I mean, I'm in. Right? But like, that's woo. Listen, I'm in. You know what I mean? I'm in. I love the game of basketball. So I'm in. I'm in for, a 4-year-old growing up and being like, yeah, you could play in the league, maybe. Right? You know what I mean? You can work hard at it. So I'm totally in. Sign me up. But I don't know about here. I don't know about here. That won't work here. Like,
again, he's not going to be a pick at 3.
He's not 3. I agree
he's
with
not
you,
the pick at 3. He's not
Yeah.
the pick, right? But a couple years from now, when he's an all-star and he's playing really well in fucking, I don't know,
Utah.
Yeah, perfect.
If we were at 5 or 6, I'm all over it.
Yeah,
I'm all
that's
perfect pick for Utah.
That would be like my response to the poll is if you're not sold on Ace Bailey, which like you throw Ace Bailey on Twitter and you're going to just like Aaron Nola, like just go fishing for piranhas. Just go throw Aaron Nola or Ace Bailey on Twitter right now and you're going to get some bipolar results. But yeah, if you're not sold on Ace, right, and it might be too high for 8 VJ there at 3, right? You trade Washington's a team that's got 2 picks. Right, and they might feel like they got left out. They might feel like that they're an Ace Bailey to replace Bradley Beal type of team, right? Maybe they give you a 6 and 14, and you stay within the lottery for both of them.
I think they're 18. I think the Spurs are 14.
Spurs are 14. Yeah, they're 18.
Yeah.
But then you're right. A lot of guys come back to play. Then it makes more sense for Trey Johnson. It makes more sense for Knipple. The big guy from Duke then comes into play. They're at 6, if that's what you were due. But if you're staying at 3, I think even Nick Nurse has even made mention that it's Cooper Flag, then the one team has 2 of the next guys.
Right. That's why I think they're sold on Ace. I think they're sold on Ace. Yeah. When I heard that, I feel like they're locked in on Ace.
Yeah, they kind of gave away they gave it away.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I feel like they're feeling good about it.
Yeah, he said it in one of the pressers or interviews, and I don't know if he was supposed to say it or whatever, but they made mention how it's Cooper Flag, and then the next 2 picks come from the same school.
Yeah,
and this was after that we had already been given through or got 3, so it was in response to our positioning.
Okay, I'm in. You know what I mean? I'm here. I'm here for it. I just hope
I'm cool with whatever we do. Honestly, I'm not going to bang the door for anybody in particular at this point.
Just take someone out of Wichita State.
Yeah,
hopefully
can't wait for that one. But yeah, like whoever we get at 3, hopefully we can get out of here. And have somebody, just contribute. Absolutely contribute.
I want a generational talent.
It's going to be a fun next couple of months, though.
I want
just because of the polarization of this pick.
I want a franchise-changing player. It's time. We're due.
That's why
Rutgers is the perfect place.
That's what I'm saying. There's a huge that's the drop off. Like you can make a case that the guys who get picked from 3 and 7 are going to end up being not the same, but as seen as the same coming out of the draft. You could make, I'm not saying I'm one of those guys, but it seems like that's a consensus opinion. But 2, when I'm sitting there and when Charlotte goes off the board and we're the 3 teams left remaining and we have a 50% chance of getting a top 2 pick, oh man, like that stings. Because like
That was the heartbreaker.
One of those two guys is like Ace has the ability to do that, but I'm not 100% confident. Whereas the other two guys, it's like, man, like we just struck gold. I like Ace. I do. Like I don't want to sound like an Ace hater. I'm not. I think he's a clear pick.
Nothing like getting a stud out of Rutgers.
But it's just classic us to be
They
like,
just
here's the
build
first
studs
two
over
picks
there.
in the draft, and the third pick is got to be the most challenging one. You got to think about it. Let's leave it to you guys.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But yeah, that's why it was scripted.
No, I agree with Tom what he said earlier though. Just let it fall to you. It'll be obvious. If we get Harper, great. If it's Ace Bailey, so be it. But just let the board fall. I don't think he'd do anything.
Yeah, like, and I think, Harper, you can make a case as some things he doesn't do great yet either. So
We already have a Harper in this city. I don't know if we don't need to. I mean, two would be nice. But.
And Pump, being an Ace hater, I'm saying he's the third best player in the draft, and two guys are better than him. That doesn't mean you hate the third guy. It means you like the two guys better. I don't think there's any problem with that because I think every person evaluating the draft on any level is the same exact opinion. And if you don't, hand in your card.
None of like
If you don't, you must be on Twitter because
I love don't get me wrong. I love talking about like the projections of these possible 18 and 19-year-olds, right? But these kids, they're literally kids. They're 18 and 19 years old. These kids, like we have no idea what they're going to be. They could have been an absolute stud in college and then just completely forget how to shoot in the NBA, right? Like all of this is just projections, right? Like obviously you want to take the dude who could jump out the gym. You want to take the dude who could shoot the lights out. You want to take all these guys that you think can be, super good, right? But you don't know until they start playing. And sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4 years for them to become the guy they're going to be. Because, the guy we're talking about possibly trading it for, Giannis wasn't Giannis when he got drafted. Giannis was Giannis like 4, 5, 6 years in, right? So obviously he was a project coming out, and people are like, you're talking about Ace being a project. So, obviously you're looking for somebody who can contribute right away and hopefully be that guy for the next 10 years and can make the sting of whatever happens with Embiid or the Paul George situation or wherever the hell else we have. Like, just make it easier. Whoever it's going to be, hopefully like their job is just make things easier because you shouldn't even be in this situation. That's it. Take the pick. Whoever you think is the best player. Again, we've talked about Morey. He's drafted well, right? Hopefully he hits another one. But again, there's multiple prospects at different positions who can help this team win. And that's what you need because obviously you're cash strapped. You can't do anything like money-wise unless you're shipping out a terrible asset. And then you probably give up whatever draft capital you have left anyway. And then you're screwed for the future regardless. So.
Yeah, you got to sit still. You got to keep your feet where your feet are. And you can hope that a guy, like we talked about earlier on the show, that Dylan Harper falls to 3 because that's not who the Spurs want. That's what you got to hope for. Why can't I? Why not us? Why not us?
I want to know who this 23 to 25.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I was just about to say that.
Like,
and why does he keep dragging?
What are we talking about? First of all,
tell me who.
What are we ready for right now? All these people are like ready. What are we ready for? You're the same people who are like Embiid's never healthy, and who cares? Then why
am I getting dragged into this one?
I know you didn't want it.
If somebody has a 20,
what are we ready for? We're not ready for anything. We're not. What are you
if somebody has a 23 to 25-year-old guy, they're in the playoffs right now playing. They're not going to trade that guy. They're not trading him.
Who's this
guy? What are we talking about here? We're not going to give up 3 and Jared McCain and whatever for some fictional guy who's say Anthony Edwards. We're not fucking getting that guy. We're not getting him. It's not happening.
And any guy you would get for what's right now? What are we doing right now? Yeah, all these guys think Embiid sucks and he can't stay healthy. Paul George can't walk, and he's in his podcasting era. And it's like, who's this guy that's helping us right now then?
It's fictional. It doesn't exist. It's like Narnia. It doesn't exist.
that being said, yeah, I'd want it. No doubt. I just who is
Yeah,
it?
but give me somebody, please. I would love to hear who's available. Please tell me.
Yeah, I know who's available. All these guys in the draft.
Exactly. The 18
who are
19-year-olds
19 years old, and who are all these guys that the Pacers got and
And it'll
developed.
be blink
and
of an
the
eye, they'll
Thunder
be
and-
23. The blink of an eye, they'll grow up in front of your eyes, Swoopy. All right, Swoop, they'll grow up right in front of your eyes, babe.
If you
Zion,
package,
I don't want Zion either. That dude's hurt more than Embiid is. I don't want him.
Yeah, Zion in the strip club, I'm good.
that's why they sent him to Chicago.
Right, Pump. That's a great name. That is the only name I could think of right now that they could. And I'm not doing that in a million years.
No chance, dude. I hate that guy.
I'm not doing that in a million years.
Would you swap Paul George for Kawhi to get off the contract?
No.
You wouldn't?
Yesterday.
I would.
That's it?
Yes.
No. You have to throw in the 28. You have to give Clippers their 28 pick back.
Deal.
And
No,
probably
not
a couple seconds. Or
I'm not
something.
giving back your 28 pick. Grow up,
No.
Peter Pan.
Oh my
Then
God! I'll
Then
give
you're,
him free
then you're
on
not getting rid of Paul George. It was just an idea to get rid of Paul George.
Well, there's got to be another idea. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Why is there got to be another idea?
Because I don't like that. Because that 28 pick could be a money pick for us down the road. So calm down.
It could be Landry Shamet too. You know, I mean, we don't know.
Okay. Well, at that point, we might need a 3-point shooter. So who knows?
And we'll trade him. We'll trade him halfway through his rookie deal or rookie year as he's looking like a good player.
We get a peanut allergy.
Yeah, peanut allergy.
Don't give me.
Yeah, that's a gold mine. That is literally. Yeah, Kawhi was unbelievable. Like towards the end, he's a playoff guy. That's why I like him. Never healthy, but when the playoffs come around, he's ready.
He wakes up ready for playoff time. I would absolutely. I mean, I would trade him the podcast.
Does he? Didn't he remove himself last year, right before a really important game?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
He probably did.
He did.
Sounds about
Or were
right.
they up or
Didn't play
down
the
in
rest of the series?
Yeah, and then he tried to play in the Olympics, and then they didn't let him play.
And they
in
were
that
like,
either.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't let him. He didn't choose
No,
to.
they didn't let him. The Clippers.
He was
didn't let him
chosen,
play.
and they told him he's not allowed to play.
Well,
at least somebody's got
he
balls.
wanted to play.
At least somebody's got a goddamn sack around here. And he's do whatever you want.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to be ready for camp. Don't worry about it. You're good."
Did you enjoy it? Enjoy your time overseas?
I'm actually going to miss the first 40 games of the season too.
What? Where are you guys? Where are you under a rock? Where are you going? Oh, I thought you meant you missed
Casey,
the first
that's
40.
No, that's he didn't play.
I was like, where
And
are
I
you
also
going?
I love how Daryl's on all these he's on this media tour right now and whatever. And anytime he gets he is as cool as a cucumber, no matter what you ask him. But when you bring up that Embiid surgery and try to get anything out of him, he is as clueless as us. He doesn't know he doesn't know anything, which makes me like, what the hell? And
What
so
is
when you
going
look at
on?
last year, I'll be honest, like the way that he answers these questions, I really think that he walked into last year having no idea that he was not going to be ready right away, having no idea about any of that. I don't think he even knows what surgery he just got. I don't think he knows anything.
It is a very weird.
He said his response to every single question, no matter how you framed it, what you asked him, was I can't say anything other than what was being reported. And so Mike Missinelli then said, "Oh, so what was reported?" And he's like, I don't really know. I don't know."
No, Mike
anything.
shredded him in that interview.
Yeah, it was
Shredded.
awesome. But you could tell, he's as cool as a cucumber when it comes to the draft and the mistakes he made last year with the old players, and I'm going to learn from it and blah, blah, blah. And when you bring up that surgery, he is a ghost. He doesn't know anything. It's unbelievable.
It is a very weird situation because, he passed the physical to play in the Olympics. And a lot of the reports said that he was not hurt at the end of those Olympics. So what did he do in the offseason in between is what I'm more curious. I'm still not mad he played in the Olympics. They said everything was fine. I mean, he had to literally have to get physical to play in that Olympic Games. So something happened in the offseason. I don't know if he was fucking around and somehow he got hurt doing some stupid shit. But every report has said that he was fine coming out of the Olympics. Something happened before the start of the year, which to Luke's point is why I'm 100% with you, Luke. I don't think they had any idea that he wasn't going to be ready for the year because everything leading up to that seemed to be like he was healthy and ready to go.
I mean,
Like,
think about
I really
think
don't
about
take
when
issue
we.
with him playing in the Olympics at all. I don't think that has
Same.
anything to do with what happened to him last year.
Yeah. Think about when we heard the things that we heard too. We didn't know that he wasn't going to play in the first game of the season until like a week before.
Day
We had
before, yeah, it
no
was
idea.
real
Yeah, so like it wasn't like
He was
he's
doing
going
the
to be
press.
out.
He was sitting in front of the press doing the press
Yeah,
tour.
he was
the
in
week
media
before
day.
the season. When taking
media day.
pictures in his uniforms and all that shit.
Yep.
It's a very
Wearing
weird
his fraudulent
situation.
gold medal.
It's a very, very weird situation, which is why I'm very curious. There has to be something else that's being covered up.
I agree.
I don't know.
Dude, I just hope I really like obviously as a fan, but like I really want them if they could win a championship somehow with him on the roster, like it would literally be the greatest ESPN documentary ever. Like the process, it probably will still happen anyway, but like if they could actually hit the mountaintop, like it would be the greatest 15-year whatever it is documentary. It really would. With all the shit that happened.
It'd be insane.
I would bet you there'll be a 30 for 30 on the process at some
They
point.
make 30 for 30s about everything.
It'll probably happen anyway.
Yeah.
But
they
I prefer it to end
literally
in a good way.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the lottery, and that's literally the reason why the lottery was put in place. I mean, the Sixers got the ball rolling on all of that.
Yep.
Ping pong balls are flying.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
We
If
can't
he's
even
healthy-
see the ping pong balls anymore. Like we
Yeah.
ruined the league. Like they used to literally show it though. You can't even see it anymore.
if he is like if the surgery goes well for him and he is able to play at a high level like he's always been able to, I mean, all bets are off on how good they can be. We know this.
We're 2 feet in
get
pencil diving.
well, no, just to your point though, like if he ended up climbing the mountaintop, it'd be the greatest, documentary ever, right?
Well,
but like if he's healthy for 1 year, if he had the ability to go 1 year of health,
I just need 1 year.
he could do it.
1 year.
He's good enough to do it. He's good enough to beat teams that we're watching play. He's that dominant. And if you got, and if you got some pieces around him like they do, he could absolutely look at us. 1144.
Talking about it be amazing.
Yeah, if
I mean,
Sidney Sweeney answered my DM, I wouldn't be on this stream right now. All these hypotheticals.
Yeah, this one may be a little bit more realistic than that one, though.
Oh
This
my
one
God.
maybe a little bit.
But I mean, that's why I'd say like you're in a purgatory with Embiid because if he plays at the level you want him to and rebuilds his trade value, you almost can't move him unless you're absolutely blown away.
Yeah.
Because
If he plays his value, he's MVP.
that's what
you
I'm
can't get rid
saying.
of the
So
guy.
like you can't move him then for that. And the if he is what he is now, especially with the new contract he has, he's not tradable. He's just not tradable at all.
You're right. Oh, Brian, I'm not pumped. I'm not saying I believe it. We're just talking, right? Because Mike brought up a point, and then I just followed up on his point that, like, if he was healthy, he could do it. I don't think that's some like groundbreaking shit.
Yeah, like you don't even really need him healthy in the regular season. You need him healthy come April.
No,
You
we
need-
tried
you
that
need him to
already.
get through-
We were fucking 2-90. You need
Yeah.
him healthy in the regular season.
Yeah, well,
Oh my
maybe
God.
he's
That was-
really
that was the
weak
greatest
in
debate
rest.
ever.
If he can play,
We were 2-12 going into Christmas.
55 games. Play 55
We were
games.
2-12 going into Christmas, and we were like, we're still okay. We'll be all right. We were 2-12.
Still a banner
Like,
year,
yeah,
though. We'll never
world.
forget that win. We will never
What a
forget
dub.
that win.
It was
What a
great
dub.
win.
What a
Christmas.
win.
Great win.
What a
Caleb
win.
Martin
Season was all worth
shot
it.
that thing.
What a great win.
We were
The
back.
fellas got it. Yep,
We
we're
were
good.
back.
We're
We
back.
were back. That
We
next
were
show
so
was
back.
amazing.
Got
Oh
a
my
dub for
God,
the
we
boys.
Couldn't do a show quick enough. You know what I mean? Like, look at us. We got the wing defenders. Everything we were looking for, baby. We got
Big
it
game
all.
Caleb. Big game
Yeah.
Caleb was out a month later. He was
With the
gone.
Boston Strangler.
He was gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Boston
New,
Boston
brand new Boston
Strangler.
Strangler gone
it
a
was
month
amazing
later.
stuff that was
Unbelievable.
going on that day. 3-12, or whatever we went. It
Sounds
worked
about
out.
right. Probably around
Yeah,
there.
good. And we were
amazing.
raising batters the next day.
Yeah.
AI was ringing the bell. I mean, it was amazing stuff. But yeah, and we are back real quick. I don't think the three of them played like since.
I think the three of them maybe played.
Gil Martin died that day. Gil Martin gave so
He gave
much.
it all. He gave it all for the city.
He died that day. I mean, we killed him.
It was such a Vegas win too because it was in Boston, and Boston's so much better. And I think like it was like 90% of the money was on Boston.
It was plus 12.5.
Boston was a 10-point favorite or some shit.
250. I never gambled like this. I had 250 on the Sixers because everybody was playing. I said, "How dare you?"
I ripped the Sixers. I ripped Yabusele. Yabusele went nuts.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah. He went nuts.
Dude, he hit like 3 or 4 threes to start the game, and I bet his threes, and I was like, "Merry fucking Christmas!" I'm like, "We're back."
I think
like,
he's gone. Unfortunately, I think it's the end of the Yabu era. Unfortunately,
probably why
I hope not. He was solid.
I like them. But I don't think they can afford.
He'll probably get too much money.
Yeah, I don't think they can afford.
Everybody gets too much money.
I like him. I like Grimes too. I think he's a guy that could contribute.
Right. That's why they can't. That's why they can't afford him.
Yeah.
Can't have both. I'd rather have guard play. I like Yabusele.
I mean, he's gonna make like $70 million, maybe.
Who?
He's gonna make a good bag.
Yabu's gonna get paid.
No. Grimes. Not obviously not per year. Just he'll probably make like 4 over 70 or something like that. Grimes.
Jeez.
No, that's nothing in the NBA. You got guys making like Patrick Mahomes money.
70?
Like they're like a sixth guy on the team.
4 for 70, and you're just a guy.
Yep.
Driving a Ferrari. You know what I mean? Lamborghini, and but you're just a guy. Yeah, $200,000 car. But you're just
NBA money's insane. Dude.
It's unbelievable. We talked about the Philippines earlier.
It is stupid.
Talked about the Philippines, China. We talked about overseas and their global market because it's. I mean, listen, that's the most populated areas in the world, right? So when you hone in on that market like they have through the years, it's their marketing team is brilliant. Even though they'll just tell you right to your face, like, "Hey, we're frauds. we fix this game." After, like, they'll tell you, like Mike said earlier, like Bucket said, right after the game, they'll be like, "Oh, missed 25 things, our bad."
Yeah. Well, it was the Pistons. Yeah, it was the Pistons. Knicks. I know it happened to us too. Yeah. Tim Hardaway Jr. was fouled. No shit.
Thanks, guys.
Completely changed the series too, because I think the Pistons are getting ready to go up, right? 2-1, or at least even it up 2-2, something like that. Completely different series.
It's like, all right, give us something to talk about at the cafeteria. That's about it.
No, it's like, hey, this ref's a
complete
complete moron and couldn't do his job. That's all that says. This guy's a moron. He missed it.
So, like, listen, it's crazy talking Sixers right now, but they're in a good spot. They're in a good spot with this pick, at least.
Yeah.
Flyers, I mean, we don't even got to talk Phils. We have plenty of time. We had months for Phillies. Flyers, hire Rick Tocchet. Your thoughts before we get out of here?
Listen, I don't hate Tocchet.
No.
I don't hate Tocchet, but this feels very similar to the John Tortorella deal, right? Just the wrong person at the wrong time. And he's got a leg up, like I said, because I don't hate him like I hated Torts. Right? But you even look back at his coaching record, he's never really won anything. Right? He's either missed the playoffs or there's 2 times he's gotten to the playoffs, he was out in the first round. So
who's that? Tock?
Yeah, Tocchet.
I think my concern is primarily with the thing with the Bobby Clark era that started to wear on me was it was almost like the boys club, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a lot of guys within the organization who played, came back, and they
drinker,
great drinker,
and I get concerned. Like I like Briere and I like Keith Jones, but I don't need to have all these guys from the past Flyers era. I don't need the Broad Street Bullies era guys coming back.
Eddie Jordan, good call.
And I'm a little bit concerned. That is a good one. I'm just a little concerned of. I don't know. Like to Greg's point, I don't know if Rick Tocchet is the guy who's equipped to coach this team into the next step. So
did you guys see They hired Bernie Perrant to drive the Zamboni.
What?
Wouldn't shock me.
They hired Bernie Perrant to drive the Zamboni. He's the
It's organization.
Zamboni.
And Bobby Clark was a nightmare drinker. Okay.
You saw that, Greg?
They just let the guy do exactly what Chrome just said. It was like the boys club.
Yep.
You know, who drinks the most, who goffs the most. It was total fraternity. It was a Flyers fraternity. And throughout different regimes and a new regime that we all really like. That's why it's just like, I like Rick Tocchet, but why are you making me not?
Yeah.
Right. Why are you organizationally making me not? Because it feels like it's always when we go outside the organization doesn't work, then we'll try it. But then as soon as it doesn't work, we're right back to a familiar air quote face. And that's where it's just like it's hard for the fan base to get excited. But then there's the caveat, like, well, or devil's advocate, well, you know, you get a Flyers guy who's had to deal with the city more. Okay, maybe. Right?
He's been gone a while though.
But it's not about dealing with the city, babe. It's about dealing with your personnel. I don't care how you deal with the damn city. You know, Nick dealt with the city like shit because he had no idea what he was saying. Andy didn't tell the city anything. So I mean, I don't care what you give us. The guys who are begging for you to give us information, those guys don't matter to me, right? And they shouldn't. They're just beat reporters looking for information. I don't care if you give us the bare minimum to protect your players, right? I don't care. I don't know. But the Flyers, maybe it's the greatest hire of all time. Who knows, right? Just like when we're talking about draft picks. Who knows, right? But like Graham said, it just
has it has a stench to it that I don't love.
Did Bobby make this? Did Bobby come back in? He's hammering out of his mind, not knowing where his car is when he's leaving PJ's, asking me if I know where it is. Like I drove him here. Like, you know, and I love Bobby Clark, the player, right? Absolutely. And if you don't, check your pulse and your beanbag. But as the guy running the show, he started to slip and he started to fail this organization in a big way. And people just didn't see it because how much we loved him as a
well, because of the loyalty and the stock in the organization, a lot of things were allowed to be swept under the rug.
And at that time, they were winning.
And listen, how would Ed not be loyal to Bobby? Think about it. Ed got the franchise. Bobby wins them Stanley Cups. It's hard for Ed Snyder, you know, running the show for years to not be loyal to Bobby, too. So you get that, right? I think we all can get that one. And you give Bobby a little bit longer of a leash than you would give anybody else. So
I got one for you before we sign off here, because obviously it wasn't in the thing, but it's a very topical subject. What are your guys' thoughts on MLB lifting the Pete Rose, the Black Sox lifting their ban and now I guess creating an eligibility pathway for them to get into the Hall of Fame?
Well, he's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, all the guys that they like.
Yeah, Shoe Joe died a couple of weeks ago, Mike.
Yeah,
Shoe was Joe.
I meant Pete Rose.
I know it.
Yeah, so like Joe.
They're still loose on Shoeless Joe.
We're still mourning the loss of Shoeless Joe.
I'll say this about I don't know, Pete Rose didn't do himself any favors. I'm actually more happy. I'm actually more happy for the family of a guy like Shoeless Joe Jackson, because there is no evidence that he did anything. I mean, look at his numbers in that World Series, and
didn't he hit like 400 or something?
Oh my God,
crazy like that.
And the thing too was he wasn't a smart guy. He couldn't read, couldn't write. There's no proof that he took any money, and when you look statistically, there's zero proof that he threw anything in that series. So to me, that was always an abomination. But with Pete, he didn't do himself any favors. I don't know what he bet on, didn't bet on, and there's other questions about his character. But do you guys think they get in?
This isn't the whole morality. It's the whole thing.
Yeah. This is where
yes,
he should be in. But here's the thing.
But let me ask you, the writers don't go on them going in.
That's where I was going to go.
Well,
this is still where we want to talk about the good old boys.
No, they ain't even the good old boys. Okay, the biggest sheets in the world, the biggest agenda guys in the country, and I guess that goes into good old boys too. But it's even deeper than that, Greg. I mean, this is like I feel like they shouldn't talk to each other, and they talk to each other, and they all vote against guys, and etc. And it's really. Did you talk to me? Did you give me that interview back in the day? Were you a dick to me? How'd you act towards me? And that's how they go about it. And it's too agenda based. But at the end of the day, Pete Rose is a player, is a first ballot, no doubt, Hall of Famer. And at the end of the day, that is what the Hall of Fame is about. If you have charges against you, then you don't deserve to be in there. He does not. At least not that I know of, right? There's speculation of stuff, of character issues and different things like that. But there isn't. He wasn't guilty of something in the court of law that I know of with underage women. I don't believe anything was found guilty. Okay, there's speculation, there's rumors. Okay, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Fine, but the player, the gambling part of it, came as a manager. You're not voting him in as a manager. Again, don't condone it, but it's not what you're voting him in as.
Yep. And this segment was brought to you by DraftKings.
Exactly.
That's the thing. The writers are going to win. It's got to go. It's going to go to the what do they call it? Competition committee or whatever.
Who doesn't love a little plus 1.5 with your own team right at home?
Yeah, he's bet on his team to win.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. So would I. I feel like so would I. Like I would be that guy. I would I'm not condoning it.
He was just an idiot because the Reds sucked when he coached.
Do you guys think the Veterans Committee will put him in?
Yes.
It's 2 years. The next one isn't until 27. I think
27.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think he gets put in.
I hope so.
I don't know
because then that opens a door for everybody else. Opens the door for Bonds, for Clemens, for McGuire.
And that's why I think that's where it's going to be an issue.
Yeah. I will bang the gavel for Barry Bonds till the day I die.
I don't disagree with you. I think him and Clemens, McGuire, I think they all should be in. Why? It's the whole conversation of why are we removing history? You could tell the story and say this was this era and this is what happened.
Yeah, put it on the plaque. I don't give a crap. Like even with Pete, put it on the plaque. Wasn't in until here because of this, and this. I don't care, but he should be in.
Yeah, you can't not you can't just remove the history of the game because of that. And to me, Clemens and Bonds are no-brainers. McGuire's a guy I think should go in.
Yeah, if baseball didn't allow it, then I hear you.
Right.
But when you talk about the steroid era, they wanted it.
They were condoning it.
Yeah,
you can't act like they didn't.
You can't act like there's guys that aren't in the Hall of Fame. Like not everybody who's in the Hall of Fame right now was clean. There's no chance.
And not everybody was a choir boy.
Listen, Tom, you were on the show with us when we sat here and talked. One of the craziest shows ever on A2D with Lenny Dykstra. And one of the good things you could pull out of that was he was very honest about Major League Baseball and the steroid era and how involved the league was, and 100% turned a blind eye intentionally because everything was generating money and interest in the league, especially after the strike season, where they needed something to get the game back.
And listen, I talk about it all the time. Barry Bonds was a top 10 player of all time pre-steroids. Okay.
Before his head grew.
Barry Bonds is an egotistical maniac. Okay, so know who Barry Bonds is. Know who Barry Bonds is as a person, because he's a little bit of a dick, and he's to reporters, etc. Right throughout his career. So understand that where the writers come in now. Because Barry wasn't always nice to them. But the player, we talk about pedigree, as a pedigree guy. That's a guy that is a baseball lifer his whole life. It's all he knows. It's literally all Barry Bonds knows. And when you talk about what steroids do, steroids can keep some guys in the league. Steroids didn't hit balls to Alcatraz. Okay, and everybody that was on steroids was getting pitched around with the bases loaded. Was being intentionally walked with the bases loaded. With literally hitting balls, like I said, that were landing. They were doing bay numbers. People were parking yachts out there. waiting for Bonds balls. I mean, that's what it was. But before that, he was a great hitter. He was a great hitter who watched other guys before him take steroids. And I'll say to the day, I'm done talking. That's a guy who said, "Oh, oh, you guys want to get cute?" Yeah. That's a guy who watched McGuire and Sosa have a little fun, and then said, "Oh, we're going to do this." Think about it as a competitor. I'm not condoning this stuff, but in that moment, as that kind of competitor that he was, I might jump right in what he did.
Yeah.
Oh, give me the goods.
You do and
launch.
And you do enough doom scrolling, you hear Chipper Jones talk about Barry Bonds, and I mean Tommy Chrome and I know this because we all watched it right live. I think the other guys are a bit young, but he get one pitch a night. He didn't miss it though. He got one pitch a night in his 4 or 5 at bats, but he didn't miss it. They made a mistake and threw one strike. We watch guys today miss. I watched Bryce Harper the other night miss 97 down the dick.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot.
Barry Bonds didn't miss that pitch.
I remember going. Bonds came to Philly. I think it was probably like 05 or 06, and I remember. It may not have been that game, but I think it was the series where, like, remember the sign that they held up in left field, right? Where it came
with
out
the
like,
syringe.
Yeah, with like but like Ruth did it with hot dogs and beer. Aaron did it with class, and then like Barry, what did you do it with? I don't remember if I was at that specific game or like that series, but I was there that weekend, whenever that was, and I remember just seeing how big he was compared to everybody else, and I think I was like 10 at the time. I'm like, this dude's huge, and and he was coming off like 4 straight MVPs, and like, like just the dude didn't get out ever. It was insane. I think he had like a 460 OBP one year, like just some absolutely higher than that. Where is this? He had a 609 OBP in 2004. 609. That's my area code. What are we talking about?
Insane.
Christ,
it's insane numbers.
And he won 3 MVPs back in Pittsburgh, like way earlier, right? And he saw all these guys doing MVP shit, right? They took the steroids. He's like, you know what? Fine. Then he won 4 straight MVPs, hitting 70 home runs a year. He's like, okay, I can do it too.
That's what I'm saying. Like going with Tommy, right? Like you guys remember Greg, Tom, like going to games and pregame. Like MLB was you had people in the stadium the moment the gates open because they wanted to see Sosa and Bonds and McGuire just take BP alone. And people are spending money because you're getting people in the stadium early. So they're spending more money. MLB was making money hand and fist over these guys.
Oh, yeah.
And then absolutely turn their back on them when, it was time to come out and sit in front of, Congress or whatever else.
Good old Bud Selig.
He did.
Him and David's turn.
Bud Selig. What a pull.
All right. Anything else, boys?
Birds are going 17-0.
Yeah, somebody has. We went through this.
Yeah, I love winning the Super Bowl and not getting a single consecutive home game.
Very odd schedule. Very odd schedule.
First Super Bowl champion in the history of the NFL to not get a consecutive home game.
Very odd schedule.
I think we have the 3rd or 4th hardest schedule in the league, and like the 2nd hardest like opening like 4 or 5 games.
In May. I knew Tom was going to freak out. Yeah.
In May. Yeah, I mean, in May we have a hard schedule. Cool. What's the schedule look like in September when 2 quarterbacks go down with ACLs? Right. A lot can change. So
sure.
We'll see how it shakes out. But I do agree.
The only thing I'll say about the schedule, which was cool, is they have a lot of national television.
I hate it. Dallas still has more though,
which is insane.
Dallas has more primetime games than the defending champs.
Hey, don't worry. We play at Dallas when they can't see
Kansas City's got the most. Dallas second. They're the only 2 solo leaders. I think it's 8 or 7 and 6 or 8 and 6. Eagles are in a group with 5. Like even Detroit, who they're trying to push, only has 4. I'm fine with it. I think there's too many primetime games and specialty games as it is.
It's the specialty games. I mean, they have a game on a Monday, a Thursday, a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday.
What happened?
That's ridiculous.
Make football great again. Like, let's put games back on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That's it.
It's not who we're playing. It's just like, what is that?
Yeah,
You're gonna
I do
play
like
on a
Thanksgiving.
Friday, a Saturday.
that's fine, but that's
Thursday.
later in the year.
Yeah.
No, I like the multiple days because I like just as a football fan always having a game.
I'll be there,
I
highlight
just
heaven.
hate-
Yeah,
Absolutely
but
be
if
there.
you're a fan
How
of the team, like it's bullshit. Like
Yeah,
I'll
but
be
I
honest.
hate how it's on 110 different streaming services and networks. That's what's annoying as
Yeah.
shit. It's like, it's an Amazon Prime Thursday. It's a fucking Peacock Monday. It's just a joke, you know.
It really is.
It is, though.
the annoying part.
Netflix on
got a
Christmas,
game
you know?
out.
Netflix on Christmas.
Yeah, YouTube got a game
Netflix,
exclusively on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
you-
Hallmark
Yeah,
got a
that's
game.
the first Friday game.
Hallmark. Mike, that might have been your best line of the night.
Christmas game. They got the Christmas game. They got the. Oh, I got the Christmas.
Hallmark's got a game. That's awesome.
Oh, Merry Christmas,
That's what
everybody.
sucks.
That was
love playing.
classic.
I love playing on Thanksgiving, though. Give me some Thanksgiving Day football.
We
I
get
love
Black
that.
Friday.
Black Friday.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Cowboys
right.
get the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. I'm very happy about that.
Oh, I thought it said.
No, we're
Yeah,
Black
they get the
Friday.
Black Friday
Yeah, we
game.
got Black Friday.
Yeah,
I'll be watching
it's
that.
weird though. You were
Daily
Luke,
in the garden on
Hey,
Christmas
me-
afternoon. And
you're right though.
first
No
football later that
consecutive
day.
home games all year, and I think 35% of our games are prime time. Like we have very weird,
We got
very weird schedule.
1/3,
Yeah,
2 Thursday nights.
Giant series within 3 weeks, and then the end of the year you got the
Washington.
Commanders within 3 weeks. You got
Yeah.
Commanders,
Really?
Bills, Commanders the end of the year.
Just
Yeah.
weird, honestly.
Hope
Really
they
weird.
don't mean it.
Debo be spinning around, baby. Be spinning
Yeah,
around.
we gotta hope that.
Yeah, on
that-
the bench.
Let's hope that Buffalo game, Week 17, we're both locked up, and it doesn't really matter.
That's a game for the NFL
Yeah,
to
it's a
sell.
Sunday
though.
night game, I think,
Yeah.
too.
Oh my God,
That's
we're
a
at week
big one.
17.
No, that's
We're at week 7. We did Thanksgiving, Christmas, and we're at week 17.
Then all scattered. Week 17 now. Party's over.
March
We're
Madness right around the corner.
here. Can't wait for next summer. Can't wait for the summer. Oh, we're almost there, guys. Oh,
Oh, shit.
it's so funny though. But yeah, that's a weird schedule.
yeah.
But we like shoving it up the NFL's asses. So let's just go do it again.
Yep.
You
Still,
want to mess around? You want to F around? You're gonna find out. care
Peacock,
about it.
Netflix,
Yeah, we'll give you
Prime.
Peacock.
Hallmark.
Hallmark,
Eagles are ready to go.
Roku.
Mark said, "Don't forget Nickelodeon."
YouTube TV.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Slime game.
I might just call them up. I'm gonna call the NFL up. And be like, "Yeah, we get an A2D game. No, we'll take your 2 worst teams. Your 2 worst. Stream. Everything's streamed. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like we want to go away from cable to save money. It's like you're buying 1,000 different subscription services. It's like, did we even save money?
no, not at all.
No,
It's like
Everyone-
it's like,
everybody
cable's
looks-
through the roof.
I
look
can't-
back
hey,
at cable. Everyone
cheaper.
looked down at cable, but cable was great.
I can't wait. Watch 2-3 years. Everything's gonna be. Hey guys, look, you can get all of this for the same cost in one site.
Yeah, I know.
Can't wait
Someone's
for it.
going to come with that someday.
Can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old bundle.
Yeah.
The old bundle.
Bundle
that's
everything.
That's what
Bundle
actually what the
Ruski.
cable- Yeah, the Bundle Ruski. That's what the cable companies are doing. No, the cable companies
Yeah.
are bundling you. That's what I got. I got a little bundle at home. You know what I mean? I didn't
Oh,
have
my
to
dad's
go.
pissed because there's no MLB network on the YouTube TV. And we have
Yeah,
MLB like
that's
the
the
league
one
pass
bad
too.
thing.
You can't get MLB network.
Yeah, I'm not paying.
It's like a separate package.
Nope, you're not getting me. They're not getting me.
Just give me a stream box. I'll
Just
pay
give me.
for it.
Just give me.
Right. That's really the play is the stream box. You get everything.
Yeah.
That's a good
You're
investment.
welcome, Greg.
It ain't free no longer though.
No.
Put Greg on that a while ago. He was a big boxer with his 45 TVs and
Oh yeah. Love it.
all right. He's amazing. Amazing. I love it.
Julia Okafor.
Oh my god.
That boy sucks. God, he was
Unbelievable.
so bad.
Well,
Oh,
if you guys are
Minnesota.
going to the pools this weekend, go 2 feet in. That's
Oh, hey,
dive.
PGA Championship picks. Who we taking?
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, who cares? Oh my god. I'm taking acid so I don't have to watch it.
Oh my god.
I was looking for Justin Thomas personally, but yeah, hey, whatever.
I got
Okay.
JT top 5. Or
Oh,
I'm
cool.
sorry, JT top 10.
JT, yeah.
I got JT top 10. Bet in there.
Yeah, I gotta look at those odds tonight. Get something in.
I went top 10 and 20. I hedged both of them, but yeah, I'm in. I'm in on JT. He's playing well. I'm always going to root for my guy Bryson, and not root for Rory McIlroy. That freaking little tweet.
You know how
Rory's gonna go
UFC's
for
got
a
like
Grand Slam this year.
what do you call the round girls? I guess like
The ring girls.
The UFC. The ring
Yeah.
girls, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
why is
Round
there no cart girls in the golf tournament? I
Clark
feel like
girls,
ratings would go up.
That'd be great.
You got
Oh,
cart,
wow.
you
They
got
don't
cart
work.
girls everywhere else.
They walk.
You get golfers in trouble. That's what happens. You get golfers in trouble.
It
You're
make
teeing
good
off.
TV.
Yeah, you're teeing off.
But you're
you
right.
see
There's
peekaboo.
no carts. Why do we make these guys walk? I don't understand.
It's so stupid.
Yeah,
Takes
2025
8 hours.
together walk. Yeah. Get driving, guys. What do we do? I don't understand it either. It's amazing. It's amazing stuff. And we got to walk 18 holes in 2025.
Well, no,
That poor kid, the
18
caddy would be
games
out of a
times
job. He's just lugging
72.
around a bag for 18
Yeah,
holes.
now he's a driver. He's even a better guy.
Yeah, he
Now
can
he's a
drive. He
driver.
can
Make him a driver. That's what I'm
Yeah, it's
saying.
even better. It's even better.
Guy's got Hallmark in his bag.
Yeah, Hallmark.
I'm not letting Hallmark go. I forgot it was even a place. I don't know how it came to my brain.
Minnesota on the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I feel bad for Butler. That blows.
I don't.
I don't feel
I
bad
like
for him.
Butler. I'm a Butler guy.
We're doing this now.
My favorite non-Sixer in the league.
I agree. Yeah, he just everywhere he goes, they win. They never won it all though, but he's
Not
a
here.
winner.
Yep. There you go.
They don't win here. All right, boys.
Yeah,
Great
dude.
show.
Good stuff.
You're
Well, not here. I meant like tonight. Then when yeah.
But you didn't win here.
didn't win here.
No, he
No,
does
he's never won it all, but everywhere he goes, they get better.
And then he leaves them.
Oh,
Yep.
Yep,
In a worse spot.
and they get worse. And they get worse.
It's usually how that goes. It's usually a cycle. Good player leads, you get worse.
Fuck's sake.
Bro, checks all the boxes. I want to check.
Tobias Harris leaves, we got worse.
Good player leaves, you get worse.
Good player leaves, you get worse.
James Harden left.
Bring cart girls to the PGA. They get some ready.
Make up.
Great take.
Make
up
off great again.
Great again.
Make up. Make up.
Lower
Make up.
lower the greens fees back to $45 instead of 97.
Yes. Let the pros wear shorts.
Yeah, that too.
Oh my god.
That's one good
That's
thing.
another great point. Oh my god, that's a great point. I didn't even think of that. Dude,
Why are we gonna be
it's
dressed up like we're
98
going to
degrees
dinner?
outside?
Why are we gonna be dressed up like we're going to for dinner? Like I don't understand why we can't be athletic. That's what drives me crazy about cops. It's a clapping and it's a goddamn. Why can't we let guys look athletic? I mean, it turns you off when you got a polo on. I mean, grow up. I mean, can we loosen up? You gotta go with a dry fit t-shirt, enjoy himself.
Think
out
about the
there.
careers
Yeah, right.
also. They could be expanded if they just implemented the cart. Like Tiger Woods is always bitching about his back. Do you think about the miles he's walked in his
Yeah.
life? Like that, like we'd be adding on to this prime. Could we
Absolutely.
think about that?
Well,
There was a guy, I think his name was Casey Martin. He had a legit like injury and a legit like problems, and they denied his access to a cart. He wasn't able to be a pro because they denied his access for a cart because they're the PGA. They had to be stuck up their asses.
It's 2025. It's time to lighten up.
That's a good one. I like that.
Oh yeah, mainline dressed for sure.
I didn't even
Yeah,
think
I mean,
about the pants. Like
Hey,
you're
the
so
Pope,
right.
the Pope's a
Like,
Villanova guy.
the who?
The Pope.
Yeah.
you go to a golf, you get tickets to like the PGA. You wear jeans, you just get side eyed all day. You're like, "Look at this fucking guy."
this guy ever played before in his life? Like, what the fuck's this guy doing?
Like I wear like Nike shorts. I don't give a shit. I mean, I'll wear Nike shorts and a t-shirt, and I'll slice it right off your forehead. I'm not condoning this to this type of standard, whatever it is I'm better than you. I don't know. It's how I always looked at
Do
guys.
they light up anymore? Or was John Daly the last one? Like, do they light up? Do they drink?
Yeah.
Man,
No drinking, but there's a bunch of guys that smoke.
That's good.
ripping cigs, like maybe
Ripping cigs.
Yeah.
One of the top
course?
girls. Yeah. One of the top LPGA stars actually didn't came under a little bit of fire because she was darting up on the course.
a little long dart.
Yeah, like she would tee off, rip a long dart as she's walking to her ball, which is all perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, I listen. I long dart for a long time,
but it started making the round social media wise, so it became more of a distraction because people are they're trying to make things out of everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, over 2 years to no long dart. But let me tell you something.
There you go.
If I was on the tour, I would long one or two.
Long dart it up.
Yeah, like, you enjoy yourself out there. You went in Rome, especially they're allowing it. I mean, it'd be bad. I'd have it in the hand. Like mid-shot, hey, you hold that. I be giving it to the caddy.
I do it with a cigar.
Smart,
Just leave the cigar on the side and
they would
shank
actually,
a ball.
if someone was smart, they would Happy Gilmore and just wear like a Flyers jersey, a Bruins jersey, and just like wear something ridiculous.
Yeah, right.
Some of the
that could be
clothes
the whole
these days are
marketing move.
ridiculous.
It doesn't have to be ridiculous. It can just be simply like, can we get comfortable, guys? You look all tightened up. You're like Greg after eating his nuggets dry with no sauce. You know, it's just
That's ridiculous.
There's just a lodge in here.
We're gonna go there now. We're trying to get
saying,
out of here. We're gonna throw that out there.
No, I'm just.
Let me tell you something. Jaleel Okafor dumps his chicken nuggets into something.
Probably does.
He's not dry wiping the chicken nuggets.
Dry wipe. All right. HTD Wednesday nights. Good night, everybody. We love you. 10-9-8. Didn't think I was going to be saying that in May. Definitely think we're going to be playing and saying it in May. But draft time, great draft talk. If you just joined us, go back and listen to it all. We're everywhere. We're out.